I'm Pop. I love movies. I laugh. I cry. I enjoy every bit of a film as much as I can to a certain point, but I'm optimistic about finding the awesome things that stand out. Unlike my friend here,
I'm Flix, and I love to critique the crap out of movies. I love movies to death, but with all the crap that Hollywood is putting in our movies nowadays, someone needs to take a stand.
we are POP-FLIX.
He shrinks really tiny. Man, they're just trying to make an Avengers team, huh? I feel like that's one of the best parts is when we compare the two of those things together, because that's how the companies went. Like, that was legitimately, you know, you have, oh, they have this person. Well, they have this person. Well, they have this person. Well, they have this person. And it's interesting to look at the fact that the Trinity of DC and the Trinity for Marvel, not even just the MCU, but Marvel in general, which is Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America.
Yeah.
There's not, like, besides very minimal things, there's not really, like, connecting points between them. Tony and Iron Man.
I was like, wait,
Tony and
there's
Batman.
a big connection there.
No, Tony and Batman are just dudes with money. That's like the connecting point. There's nothing almost that connects them otherwise. Like, Bruce Wayne and Tony, they're pretty similar. But no. The persona that Bruce Wayne gives the world is pretty much he read Iron Man and went, I think that's how I should act. But no, and then Captain America and...
Not this Bruce, though.
No, not this Bruce.
This Bruce is brooding.
Yeah. Well, he still sleeps with, like, everybody. Well, I guess we should... Well, no. Well, yeah, we should probably start.
Okay. What up, y'all? I'm Pop.
And I'm Flix.
Welcome to Justice League.
Yeah, so... You guys might notice that there might have been a big gap between a few of our videos. Truthfully, we did actually have through Justice League, actually maybe through Aquaman, recorded initially.
Yeah, I don't want to remember that.
But due to technological issues and bad recording equipment, we'll call, myself being the bad recording equipment, we... honestly have had to record 2 other times for Justice League. This is try number 3.
And well, I look at it as a blessing because, one, now we have the Snyder cut on the horizon.
True.
We can make comparisons of,
of the movie we've never seen before.
Yeah, or what we're hearing through the rumbles of them introducing Martian Manhunter, Adam, and maybe Batman possibly getting a series out of this. So
yeah. No, and that's... I don't... If there was one of the... No, but if there's one of the first 5 DC movies that we had to redo, I'm okay with it being this one more than most. Wonder Woman was not horrendous. Gosh, I'm surprised we made it through Suicide Squad, honestly.
Or Aquaman for me.
Well, but we haven't gotten there as far as POP-FLIX.
Yeah,
I'm saying as far as things that we've done so far... And the first 5 being Man of Steel, BVS, Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, and now Justice League.
Well, this movie is only 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty fast. It's a ride, and you're like, oh, the ride's over. When we saw this in theaters, it was like that. It was like, okay, here we go. Then all of a sudden, boom! Oh, we're at the end. Oh, okay, let's go home.
No, and I remember. I remember the worst part about watching this movie in theaters is we left and we're like, well, I mean, it wasn't bad.
Wow. I know. We sat there. We like our usual reaction when we go see a movie together. We look at each other, and it's either I'll get the Flix face of just like
the deep exhale of what did I just sit through,
or I'll get that throughout the movie where I just hear.
What was the movie that I literally face palmed in the middle of the movie? Do you remember that?
Oh yes. I think it was a Marvel movie.
Was it a Marvel movie?
I think it was like Captain Marvel. Did we see Captain Marvel together?
No, I don't think we saw Captain Marvel together. There was a movie that something so stupid happened that I literally just people facepalm all the time sarcastically.
Yeah.
No, I did it. I smudged my glasses up because I just facepalmed myself so unexpectedly. And I was just like, what the hell just happened? You know what? It might have actually been Rise of Skywalker.
No, you didn't facepalm, but you did ruin the end for me.
Yeah, I will hold that forever. We're going to do a POP-FLIX someday of that, and just right before she says that, I'm going to ruin it for you again.
Well, good thing I watched it enough times to where you didn't ruin it for me.
Sorry, I got something caught in my throat. Probably potato. But no, as we kind of mentioned prior, today we are going to be doing our POP-FLIX for Justice League.
Yes, and it's been a while since we sat down and actually did a POP-FLIX.
It really has. Well, in that time, quite a bit has happened. I moved to a completely different place, so we have a little more space. We're not two fat dudes sitting in a 10x10 room melting.
Oh yeah, this new environment's nice.
Mm-hmm. We also better viewing experience now.
Yes, like we're in a movie theater.
I know. Oh gosh, speaking of, real quick side note before we do this, that whole thing with Trolls World Tour.
Yeah.
And how who's that? Universal?
Yes, that's where AMC has banned all Universal movies here going forward.
Mm-hmm. And and it's because they're trying to take their bread and butter. You listen to, oh well, we're just going to start releasing our movies to streaming platforms, and I'm just like, guys, I will stand to my dying breath saying, unless you are a millionaire with your own personal theater, the movie-going experience will never be able to be matched by the home experience. This TV could be twice as big, and it won't be the same.
Well, I think, though, going forward with all the current events...
Well, and that's what makes things work.
Yeah, well, that's what sucks, too, is because nobody wants... after this, no one's going to be like, oh, rushing to the theater like they were. Like, we rushed to the end game, Because I'd rather be in a movie theater, eat popcorn, watch it on the big screen and stuff like that. It's just like those weird little things, like seeing Solo. This is just an example. Seeing Solo on the big screen... Then watching it at home, I'm like, this movie's dark. Like, I had to turn
visually dark.
Visually dark. I gotta turn off all the lights just so I could watch it. And and it takes. I'm like, I'd rather go back to the theater and rewatch this again because there's little things like you said that we see in detail.
Mm-hmm. Well, and there's three key things, and after we hit this, we're gonna give our thoughts on this movie. But there's three things that the movie theater offers that I don't think being at home will almost ever offer. One is the social expectation to shut the hell up. If you're at home, people can be walking around, talking. Your neighbors next door could be having
phone calls.
Yeah, and you can hear it through your window. That's not going to be the same that is required of theater etiquette. Now, mind you, there are people that are jerks that do that in theater anyway, but those people get kicked out or just get glared at heavily because we're too afraid to say anything.
Or sit right behind me and Flix.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty... It's unless we are in the best movie theater that our city has, the best theater itself, and we had to pay $2 extra per ticket, then we have okay viewing experiences. But if we ever have to go to the normal theaters, every time there's someone sitting behind us just being super loud. But that's one thing. Two is you can't pause a movie in a movie theater. So you have that expectation of being there and watching that. It's not, and I don't do this in general typically anyway, but it's not, hey, I started this movie, 10 minutes in, I'm going to go do this real quick, come back to the movie later. You lose stuff from a movie when you go do that. I know that some people do that, and we've had to do that before with, what is it, Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Where we couldn't sit down and watch the movie in one go, which I really hated us not being able to do, but time constraints. But that's, if we went and saw it in a movie theater, we wouldn't have those time constraints. It would be the understanding that we're sitting through that movie.
Well, I'm one of those people. I've told you this before.
You have a kid and all that stuff too.
Well, and I don't mind it. I'll pause and it doesn't take me out of the movie. If I go run and grab a few snacks, but it's just both of us have different ways. Sitting through an entire movie in a theater is one thing. Then to me, being at home watching a movie, then being right during the biggest action scene during Marvel's Endgame, I'll be like, pause. I need to go grab tissues. I need to grab this. And I'll come back and just bawl my eyes out like a baby.
Mm-hmm. No, and the last one, and this sounds like a really weird one, but you'll never be as comfortable at home or in a movie theater as you are at home, and that is with purpose. If you're at home getting super comfy, you get distracted by stuff. You're not paying attention to what's going on. You're looking over here, over there.
Picking up your phone,
Stuff like that. And that might tie into the first one where, like, etiquette. But you're still... You can be so comfy at home that you forget kind of what you're doing. Where when you're in a movie theater, yeah, they have those reclining chairs in the nice movie theater. And yes, Big Daddy has fallen asleep in a few movies.
Yeah.
But you still don't have that same level of comfort. Because you're not supposed to. You are still relaxed. But you're not in a relaxing environment because you're surrounded by like 30 plus other people.
And speakers, that's why I love the best movie theaters, Cin 1.
Yeah, Cin 1 has 150 speakers in that entire theater. And again, if you're a billionaire, maybe you can afford that. But it's
one day I will have that type of setup.
Well, it's one of those, if you build it yourself, that's one totally different thing. It'd still be really expensive, but it could. But if you want to tell me that you are going to watch, what's Fast 9's name? Does it have
Fast
a name?
9.
It's just Fast 9. Fast and Furious 9. If you're telling me watching Fast and Furious 9 in your own house with, even if you had a 75-inch TV, and 5 little speakers sitting around you, and a nice comfy couch, is anywhere near as exhilarating, as fun, and as engaging as going to a movie theater where you might be sitting 50 feet away from it, but that's a 100-foot screen. And you got 150 speakers going all around you. If you want to tell me that those two experiences are equal, I'm going to tell you that you are lying.
Really lying. I've heard people like, oh, the home experience is so much better. I'm like, bullshit.
No, when I was in college, one of our classes had to deal with that, where there's oddly enough, this is where our society has gotten. There's a class about fandom. It's the premise of like how fandoms started, how like the premise of fandoms, things that have affected it throughout the ages. Star Trek being one of the major ones. But people were discussing about movie theaters and how going to movie theaters is kind of its own little cult. Remember when before our movie theater had assigned seating, we would get there at the butt crack of dawn. We would sit there
2 a.m.
We'd sit there for 22 hours just waiting for our movie so that we could get the best seat in the house.
Oh yeah, the good old days.
And that was we are movie fanatics. We are movie fans, and that's where the term fan comes, is from fanatic.
Well, it's just like, I think the last time I remember doing that was in one of the X-Men movies, and knowing that I'm getting older wrecked my body. The next day, I felt like I was hungover, I was sick, I partied all weekend. No, I sat 20 hours waiting for an X-Men movie for the midnight release, and I remember like the next day I woke up, I was like, oh my god. It's like I went on a binger and drank.
No, I think the worst one for me physically was probably either the Avengers that we saw that was the all-day marathon, which, because I had a headache starting in the middle of Captain America, or no, the middle of Thor, and the light bulb in our theater was going out and blinking the entire time, just crushing my head. Or when we went and saw Iron Man 2 and we stood outside all day long and I forgot sunscreen.
Oh, yeah.
And I was in such bad shape the next day.
I remember, here's a fun one. I remember when I broke my tailbone in the wrestling ring because we had wrestling practice, and I went to the Dark Knight Marathon. Stood outside all day to do the Dark Knight Marathon.
Dressed as Batman.
Wait,
was that one dressed as Batman?
No, Dark Knight. Dark Knight, I dressed as Batman all day. I was dying in that mask.
People were just like feeding you water to try to keep you up. Because you did not seem like you were going to make it through that.
No. I remember, people were constantly like, you alright? Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, drink this. Okay, I think I'm good. No, drink more. Because like, we don't live in a really hot place. But we live in a dry as hell place.
And where in the old theater, where that line usually went, it was nice in the morning because there was a little bit of shade, but once it hit noon, woo!
Yeah, that sun started on one side of the building where you just start out the morning going, oh, it's cold. Like, oh, it's the middle of summer. Why is it this cold? And like noon hits and you're like, I didn't know I became a shrimp on a Barbie.
When the concept and the idea with the new theater was like assigned seating, I was like, thank you.
I'm still mostly against that because I never thought it was fair that someone with a quicker digital finger than me gets any seat they want. Because, I mean, this was kind of my fault. But Endgame.
This was your fault, though.
Yeah, well, okay. No, but truthfully, it's because I was staying up all night just refresh. Nothing.
Pass out.
And like 1:30 rings around, still nothing. And I pass out and I wake up the next morning. All the first showing's gone. I'm like, damn it. Which we did end up still seeing the very first showing of that. It was just
no, you're like, we paid a little bit more. But we got little cool coins. So,
I still have mine. No, it was normally like $10 for it. And then like, I'm like, well, okay. So we have a choice. We can see the $10 one 2 hours later or 3 hours later than everyone else. Or we can see it an hour earlier than almost everybody else and just pay $20.
I think that was like, that's not an option. Just do that one.
Yeah, no, it was. I think I'd already purchased them too, and I just been like, so I can return your tickets if you want, but we're not going to. But no, so that's just I've had this argument with people before about that, and I respect introverts in that regard. That some people don't want to go to the crowds. They don't want to pay $8 for a bag of popcorn, and I can understand those things, but if you are telling me the experience is the same, no. If you're saying you would be more comfortable being at home watching this on TV, that's fine to say that. But if you're telling me it is a better experience, or it is on par as an experience, that is not something that I'm going to believe you even think.
I was wondering, did we see the premiere for this? Did we go to the premiere or did we go like the next day? Like on a Saturday or something?
We might have. No. Oh, jeez. No, I think we saw the premiere.
Okay. I'm trying to remember because...
it didn't strike us as much as other premieres we've seen, obviously.
Well, it was like Wonder Woman. I remember my brother basically dragged me to Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'll see it. I was just like, after the few hits and misses, well, lots of misses, but what they're doing here, I was like, I'll go see it. And I was like, okay, cool. We're on the right track. Mm-hmm. Then I remember when we saw this, we're like,
And that's too good segue back to this. But to that, it really was, and time has kind of changed our perspective a bit, but it really was one of those, we went in with first movie Avengers level of expectation. Where we definitely overhyped this movie in our brain of all the things we expected out of it.
Well, that's the bad thing. It's just right back to our debate over the Snyder Cut and how my expectations in my head are going off like crazy and what I want to see, and it just goes with this movie because I was like, well, I heard there's a Green Lantern tease. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. And then that's all of 3 seconds where whoever it was just gets their ass handed to them.
We did not go to the premiere. I remember this now. Because my brother went to the premiere, saw it, and we went on that weekend, and I remember he was just like, yeah, Green Lantern's there. And I remember sitting there in anticipation and waiting, and sitting there with you, and all of a sudden I was like, yep, there it is, bye. And I'm like,
No, that was, yeah.
Yeah, so now I remember, because I remember my brother saw it before us.
Okay. Well, I know that for another movie, he went and saw the, like, premiere, and we didn't get to watch that. That might have been Solo. Where he went and saw the special theater one that had the free poster or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I got that poster, too.
Yeah, no, I think I was there with you when you were just like, hey, do you guys have more of these?
No, didn't they deny me, though?
I think they did.
They're like... Because if I remember right, I was like, oh, can I get one of these? Like, no, that's for this. Then, like...
But, like, it had already passed, and we're like, okay, well, then why do you have them...
Just sitting there. But I got it, though.
Yeah.
Justice.
But, yeah, so... Like, with this one, I actually haven't watched this one recently. I remember I literally just finished watching BVS a couple hours ago.
I watched BVS this week, and I did watch Justice League last week. So.
Yeah, is it a bi-weekly thing that one has to be on?
Well, I like to go back, and pick it a little bit more. Like, I'm thinking I want to go back and listen to more of the commentary, because I used to really be a huge movie commentary guy. Mm-hmm. And because if you get the perspective of the director, and sometimes the director can BS all the time, but it's not as bad as like J.J. Abrams, because he did a director's commentary for Force Awakens, and all he does is just thanking everybody. Oh, this scene and blah blah, but I gotta thank this person, and it's just a big thank you fest. And it's like, no, but can you tell me about the scene? Like, what am I seeing here? What did you envision?
I'm trying to remember the last movie that I watched, because I've done it before. I've done it plenty of times. But I'm trying to remember the last movie that I watched with the audio commentary from the director and other people. I'm thinking it had to have been one of the MCU movies, but I can't for the life of me remember which one it was.
And I think, though, what I got to give credit to Zack Snyder.
Are you thinking him? Is this your thinking him in the commentary?
This is me thinking him. What about him is his special features go above and beyond what you expect. Mm-hmm. Just like Nolan, when Nolan's special features and this and that, and with Zack Snyder on the Man of Steel, one of the special features is you're watching the movie, but also he pops up and they show scenes of where the CGI is or what they're wearing, and it's like a real engaging type of thing. Where you're like, oh, that's cool how they did that. Oh, that's cool how they did that. Why is Superman sad?
Yeah, no, that never fixes that though. See, that's the funny thing is that I don't care how good the commentary is. If it's not a good movie, it's not a good movie. Because that's we've had our discussion on the Snyder Cut, and if you can't release the right movie, like, that's... I just think it's bad for a director to be dirtying his hands on his old material when what's done is done. Even if the Snyder Cut becomes the greatest thing ever released, it's not going to fix what Justice League was.
Before you push play, I want to bring up a real fun fact. Is after that debate, I think the next day you text me with that link with David Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad, and it was so angry. You're like, see?
No, and that is what is gonna piss me off so bad because what about Zack Snyder's full cut of Man of Steel? What about Zack's full cut of BVS? Which I don't even think the ultimate cut would be that. It'd be something above the ultimate cut. No, what if Patty Jenkins comes back and redoes Wonder Woman?
Well, no, I heard the ultimate cut is Zack Snyder's vision. So, and he even did a whole big... they're doing them all now. Watch parties, with the director tweeting. It's annoying.
But it's still... I don't... It's just wrong. It's... Because imagine if people started doing that with cult classics. I
don't think it's going to get to that extent.
You don't think so, but if
Warner Brothers... The next day you're going to text me and be like, see?
Yeah, but if Warner Brothers keeps getting money for it, if HBO views that as something that they can just, wring out of people... Because that's the thing is, what number Marvel movie are we getting? Is this 25?
Yeah. No, 23 or something like that.
That's past 23.
No, let me check. I will fact check you.
But regardless... The stories haven't changed that much out of major events. There's a reason there's the Marvel formula.
23 films.
So it's 24. Black Widow.
Nope, it has 23 films. So, wait, Infinity War. I always forget that with that. But no, you're right. So it's 24.
Okay. But yeah, they haven't changed drastically, and when they do, people hate them for a long time, then suddenly it's cool to like them. But they just... Marvel has found their cash cow in making new material that's a lot like the old material. If DC finds their cash cow in taking old material and remaking it, we're going to get an entirely new set of the Harry Potter films. We're going to get an entirely...
I would be happy for that door to be open.
But we're going to get an entirely new set of the DC universe. We're going to get an entirely new set of anything else owned by Warner Brothers.
You imagine, though, Robert Zemeckis coming out and be like, I have my 3-hour cut of Back to the Future, guys. I'll go back and...
Is that Warner Brothers?
No, it's not Warner Brothers.
I thought that was like Universal.
Yeah, it's Universal, but you just get all these directors.
Yeah. No, that's...
Spielberg's like, I have my real cut of Jaws.
Kubrick comes back from the dead to release new Shining. No, but it's just, it's not right. Like, it's not right that you were going to mess with something that has been released and done, and that's what we're about to watch is the original one. Do you think that watching this is going to be degraded once you watch the new one?
I will say this. The one thing that's kind of pissing me off with all this is I still like this movie. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see the Snyder Cut just because I just want the Snyder Cut. But people going online and throwing their Blu-ray away or just showing like taking out the trash or writing on the cover Justice League and this and that, I'm like, you know what, that you just spent I know how much I spent on my copy. You know, you just spent like $20 and you're just going to throw it in the trash. I'm like, that is beyond stupid to me. Just to make a point across. Oh, we won. Okay, if you won, why did you even buy Justice League in the first place on Blu-ray? If you hated that movie so much, didn't like the vision of it, or this and that, why'd you buy that movie? Just so we can have the Snyder Cut coming and be like, oh, look at me. I'm throwing away money into the trash can. Why? Because I'm finally getting my Snyder Cut. I'm like, well, if you hated it that much, why did you buy it?
I know. No, and that's I don't care freaking if the Snyder Cut freaking makes me reach Euphoria 20 times before even the title credits come on the screen. It's not going to change the fact that this exists, and I have to say,
we're just gonna go back, and when the Snyder Cut's released, we're gonna appreciate this one much more. I know,
dude, for real. That's what I'm warning you about. Is like taper your expectations. Everybody taper their expectations. But I don't know. We can get going with this. Then
let's do it.
Watching it digitally, hitting play.
Yep, it is on now. So if you want to watch it with us, you can.
Yep.
There's that Warner Brothers logo. This is nice on this TV.
I don't know. I just think... Wait, Access? I don't ever remember that one being part of it.
I think it was added, because I don't remember that at all. Because I watched this the other day on Blu-ray. Unless that's Josh's company?
I have no idea.
I love this intro, though.
Dude, you know what the funniest thing was? I was listening to the old recording of Justice League.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you said when we got to this part.
Because
every single time.
They're using it on all DC platforms now, especially for like Stargirl and whatnot.
Well,
and I'm
like,
like,
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, they're using it for Harley Quinn and whatnot. And I'm just like, I love that intro so much. Don't change it. Let's just keep it. Hey, look. Soups. Hey, he's not mad. He's not sad.
No. Ish. It's hard to tell with his lip being so CG.
I hope they do fix that, though. Maybe make it a little natural. Or just give him the mustache.
I was going to say, what's wrong with the mustache? Like, Superman has had a full-on beard before. We just watched freaking Apocalypse War. He looks good with a beard.
Unless they do that in the Snyder Cut. They just give him a beard when he wakes up.
Exactly.
And not that weird confrontation with Batman. Yeah. This scene I thought was so cute with the kids. And I know you didn't like it. Because they're like, we're good for our podcast. And
yeah, no, that was the most... The only thing that would have made it worse, which then they ended up doing in freaking Shazam, was if they'd asked Superman to do a Fortnite dance.
Oh, yeah.
I would have just been like, I would have instantly stood up in the theater and be like, nope, I'm done. Bye. You guys took my money. I'm not going to ask for a refund, but I'm done. You know what this beginning scene makes me appreciate more?
What?
The Tim Burton Batmans.
Yeah. I can see where they were going with Batman, and I don't know. The Bruce in this is just so opposite of Bruce from BVS.
But even so, Bruce in BVS was... I didn't like Bruce/Batman as much in BVS personality-wise as...
Oh, that's so great.
As in this one.
Yeah.
Like, this one, it's one of those... You talk about how he's different. Well, I like this one better than I like the old one.
I'm kind of torn because I do like pissed off Bruce, pissed off Batman, but I do appreciate this Batman as well. You know, being a little bit lighter. The joking thing's still weird.
Yeah, but it's one of those. It is very juxtaposing to the original one or to the other Snyder one. But where did he think he was going? Either did he think he was going to jump from rooftop to rooftop?
I don't know, but that was a cool flip.
It was.
I want to do a flip like that in a cape. It always reminds me of like on Incredibles, no capes.
No capes. No, I don't know.
He looks so familiar.
Oh, I'm sure he's from something. I also like how we don't explain how the parademons got here in the first place.
Yeah, I hope with the Snyder Cut they explain that a little bit better, especially with the parademons, because they're a pretty big deal in the DC universe. You know, after rewatching watching Apocalypse War, then going back and rewatching all the animated stuff, reading comic books, rereading stuff, and I'm like, a little bit more of an introduction of what the parademons are. Mm-hmm. You know,
I also like how random sound noise that he hears suddenly becomes big thing later in movie. Like random.
I feel like that was a Whedon thing because you got those little plants that you need to do. Be like, okay, well, how do we defeat these parademons? Oh, you remember that random sound we heard in the starting of the movie that Batman heard? Yeah, let's just recreate that. I don't like the look of the parademons either.
I also like how they explode and leave behind markings of what they're there for.
I was about to say that too.
You're like, hey, these are my covert operatives that are looking for the mother boxes. Oh, hey, look, the mother boxes is the thing it makes the picture of.
Darkseid's like, I thought we took that feature out. So you don't want them to leave the markings behind?
So something that we're gonna probably talk a bit about Apocalypse War during this thing, but something from Apocalypse War that made me really kind of think good seeds in this movie could have been planted was the fact that Darkseid could see through Cyborg's eye, like through his robotic eye.
Yeah.
Like, how cool would that have been in this movie if we find out that Cyborg is accidentally a sleeper agent for Darkseid?
And sadly, too, I was a little bit confused the first time I saw that. I was like, wait, so he's the traitor?
Yeah. No, it's something that does not get talked about at all. And suddenly it's like, oh, yeah, no, Darkseid can see him the entire time. Like, oh.
Now we must mourn Superman.
We mourn him every week. It's just how we celebrate here.
Yeah. We don't clean up that rubble.
We were going to have Lex do it, but we learned our lesson the first time.
Yeah, so we just stay away from there, monuments. Are they barricading it? They did, huh?
Yeah, they did.
The song choice is kind of weird, too.
I just think that it's just bad sound design in the first place for most of this movie.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should call back to the other ones all the time, but like if you hire John Williams, is it Hans Zimmerman in this one?
No, Hans Zimmerman did not come in for Justice League. It's Danny Elfman did the score for this movie.
Yeah, if you got John Williams, then come talk to me. Like John Williams could have worked into it some of the traditional stuff.
Well, they did sort of in this. Not like
well.
It's very tiny. I did buy the soundtrack. I did listen to it, and there's that tidbit with the Batman part. It's just so small. I'm like, just to have him enter, at the end with that music going would have made it really awesome.
So, I also like because if you're watching this the first time with us, I think I say this every time we watch this.
I know.
If you're watching this the first time with us, then you're watching this wrong. But it's just. What?
Well, no, we want to encourage people to watch the first things with us.
Yeah, great. But no, you've got the skinheads.
Yep.
Poor apricots and what looks to be peaches, maybe?
I know. Well, that's why I love this TV so much. It's like I could tell what fruit.
I know. They're flat peaches. You can see in the bottom left it says flat peaches.
And they're 80 cents a pound?
Well, that's a lot of peaches.
And this guy. I feel this was very Joss.
No, this was very Zach, because this is literally what Zach said.
Oh,
I tried.
Unless that was a Joss thing, and he's like, maybe we should I'm
going to hedge my bets, and this is going to be me saying that
I tried to fix this. Little subtle message at the starting. Like, it does, because literally the movie starts now, and that sign's there. I always felt like it was kind of weird, a little symbolic in whatever they were trying to say, but maybe that's what it was. It's like, hey, before you watch this, I tried.
Yeah.
This scene's funny, too.
This is another kind of incongruous one to the rest of the movie, too, where what does this do to anything?
Nothing. Just to have Wonder Woman show up. And even that, like, you could have cut this and have where Diana is in the parlor, like, oh, what you do this weekend, Diana? You know, you could have just cut to that. Yeah. And you didn't need a big sequence for Wonder Woman to show up. I mean, she's here.
To her, this is doing nothing. So, yeah.
And then she kills all these kids in this room.
She kills everybody in this room, and they just don't talk about it. Granted, that's also exactly what happened with Man of Steel, where everybody dies and they don't talk about it until a later date.
The thing about this too, I remember when we first saw it, the score, a little bit more upbeat because it's Danny Elfman, you know, doing his thing. And then you go, watching BVS, you've noticed with the music, very dark tones and very, you know, this movie, totally different, musical score-wise. Because I believe in BVS, it was Hans Zimmerman and the XL band, or I don't know, something XL.
I don't know. I also think it's funny that we're I was going to say we're 3 movies in and she still has to explain what the lasso is. It's like, it's one of those, we're going to make this comparison a few times, but with Marvel, they reach a certain point where they just stop explaining things.
Yeah, well...
Like, if you don't know it at this point in time, you don't know it.
Well, it goes into the fact of, like, yes, we don't need to see Uncle Ben's death again.
How many times do we need Wonder Woman's lasso explained? Like, for real. # cancel Wonder Woman's lasso. And, like, few people probably died from that, too.
Splinter!
Can you imagine if, like, the guys that were doing this, not this guy, but all the other ones, were kind of there against their will?
Yeah.
Like, we're being forced to do this.
Well,
I have a wife and kids!
Well, it's just like a henchman. Remember, they explain it in Harley Quinn.
They explain it in a lot of things.
Yeah, they're like, I'm just here because I need to feed my family.
Yeah, no, there's a, that was not that big of an explosion.
Yeah, because he said it was supposed to take out like a few blocks.
Yeah, 4 blocks.
Yeah. Now I will kill all you. Never mind. Wonder Woman will do it for you.
Yeah. I also like how there's one of him, and he was literally having problems, and nobody tried to rush him.
Yep.
Not that they should have, in theory. Well, you had a problem with this scene initially, didn't you? Like, the movement she does is like...
It's just like Barry's running. It's weird.
Yeah.
You know, because with Barry's running...
Wait, let's watch her kill everyone.
Oh, yeah. And everybody in that room is dead.
I mean, she's not like freaking Havoc from the X-Men where she can...
I think it's that part I don't like. I don't mind her doing the bullets.
No, I thought there was something about the first time that we watched this, I thought there was something about the way that she moved. Like, the animation or the CG of her moving was just very weird.
And to think about it, though, we're going to get more Bruce on a horse.
Ooh, all of my dreams have come true.
Same here.
All of my Christmases at once. Wow.
More Ben on a horse.
What was the joke I made about I watched BVS this morning and I was texting you about horse dreams and it's like a nightmare.
Oh. Yeah. Maybe the reason why they CG'd his beard, because like, well, Momoa's got a beard, Bruce had a beard. We can't let Superman have the beard.
Maybe they also... This movie came out before Infinity War, didn't it?
Yes.
I was going to say, maybe they just saw that scene with Thor and Cap where it's just like, I see you copied my beard.
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, we can't have him have a beard now because Marvel's pointed attention to beards.
His eyes are so blue. Aren't they that? They're not that blue in Aquaman, are they?
No idea. I think when he can finally fully communicate with everything, his eyes become like that pulsating color of blue.
Yeah.
But prior to that, I don't know.
And what's so weird too is about this is when we go to, I don't think it's Atlantis. They don't really.
It's somewhere near. It has to be somewhere near.
Yeah. Some safeguard or whatnot, because the Atlantis we get next in
Oh yeah, no, it's the Wakanda of the undersea, where everything is super colorful and complex.
and there's a wall and there's guns on top of that wall.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rainbow Bridge.
So yes, the Rainbow Bridge too. Everything I can copy from it. And like I said, I wanted to make that composite video between Marvel and DC of all the things copied. But no, that wall painting that's got Aquaman standing there holding the fish or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's got the 3 mother boxes.
Yeah.
Like,
Who drew that?
well, one, like, how do they even know about that in the first place? Unless that's an old story passed down to them. And even if it is, how is Aquaman relevant to that? Because Aquaman right now is what, in his 20s?
No,
Maybe his 30s?
No, because I think they're basing it around Batman's age. Because what is he, like in his almost 40s? Late 40s here?
I can't believe they're all that old because Superman just
You can't believe Wonder
Superman.
Woman's that old? Wonder Woman's old.
Wonder Woman's considerably older than everyone else.
Yes.
But no, Momoa's got to be in like his 30s max, early 30s. His character, maybe not necessarily the age of the actor.
Well, you can tell in their faces.
Yeah, well, he's got the graying hair on him, and Momoa doesn't.
Well, that's probably dye from the oceans. Oh, that's so bad. I will point this out every single time. This scene is like, okay, Bruce's background looks fine. That looks weird.
You know, it'd be funny if that was actually a background. Like that wasn't fake. That was legitimately a place. And I could see it.
And the way he goes into the ocean, whoever edited that, just kind of splash back yourself. You're like, okay. And I love this plane because it looks like a bat cave upon itself in the sky.
That seems like the stupidest thing, though, when you think about it.
You imagine though, like someone's building this plane. He goes, "Let's make it more cave-like." What?
Everything needs to be black. Does this plane come in black? Well, yes, this plane is black, but the interior, we can darken it.
Well, Momoa's 40 years old now, so yes,
he was in his 30s at the time. But I'm just saying, like, the key issue that comes in with trying to establish the universe as this is going on is Ezra Miller's Flash is in his 20s. Which, youngest, he probably hasn't had his powers for a super amount of time. Well, Victor's actually
and he
probably
looks like a hippie douchebag right here.
Oh, God,
I don't know how you go from that look. I remember the first time I saw it in BVS, I was like, ugh. Then they're like, well, he has cut hair now, and he looks even darkier.
I think my key thing I hate about the Flash is his powers in this movie are so, for lack of a better term, I guess I have to say flashy. Like, I know, but like he can't move an inch fast without a giant electrical storm.
Yeah.
And then, Victor's the youngest one. In this movie, I wish this movie was more about Victor. And it's pretty much going to be like Justice League War is what I wish this movie was like. But you had pre-established heroes. And I think that wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world.
And I think, though, in the Snyder Cut, they're going to do that. I think because there's a lot of stuff that...
They can't, though, because BVS has them not being pre-established heroes.
No, not being pre-established heroes, but having Cyborg start as, human... And that big thing happens where he has to become Cyborg and whatnot. Like, I would have loved seeing that. Automatic is like, here's Cyborg. And I was like, oh, okay, well, his build up to this is pretty cool storytelling-wise.
Yeah.
Because his dad's a jerk. Oh, yeah.
And the other thing that kind of gets me about the casting of this is I really want a world where Barry and Hal...
Real quick, this is stupid. I don't know why, but it's just like that's his plant in the.
Yeah. Do you think that Batman doesn't have like plants everywhere if he needs them?
Well, just like in BVS before you finished it, because I got here, just the guards letting him in.
Yeah, he gets let into a maximum security prison, Supermax. Like, I don't know. I also think that Barry's story gets undercut heavily in this, and
because if you're not really a comic book reader or whatnot, this right here is very important because this is why Barry, not in this movie per se, becomes who he is.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's the driving force of his entire life is his father's conviction and him trying to prove him innocent.
Yes.
Which then you have him getting his job at Central City PD, and that pissed me off in this movie because it's not by his own power. It's because he has someone that gets his name in there, which is obviously Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I had a friend. I'm like, Bruce.
You're like, that means that Barry wasn't good enough to do it on its own?
Well, it just goes to effect of like in the new Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland. He didn't make his suit. He has that one in the beginning, towards the end, but he's not fully responsible for the way his suit functions. He gets it from Tony.
Yep.
So we're just gonna still keep this here, even after.
Yeah, even after that giant thing almost killed everybody and cost Superman his life to stop us. Yeah, we'll keep the ship.
Yeah, but we as a government, we still gotta meddle with it, and see what happens.
You'd really think they'd make like a place to put it.
Not out in the open like that. Not take it to the middle of the desert to, build a fort around it or something like that people can't access.
No.
Not where I can live in that building right next door. My apartment's right there, and I look down, I'm like, oh, look, there's that spaceship they keep.
Shit. I wonder what it does for land value around that area. And it's like, yes, we have this beautiful view of the
spacecraft.
The spacecraft that almost ended humanity. And on the other side, we have 2 Bath and Body Works.
And
Victor, you looking back at the spaceship again?
Yes, it's cool. I like it, Dad. Yeah, and like I was saying, with the Snyder Cut, I hope a little bit more of the story fleshes out for Victor. I hope it fleshes out a little bit more for Barry. We already got Wonder Woman's story.
If you make a movie 6 hours long, there better be some fleshing out of people.
They don't, though?
Well, that was... Okay, no. That was the thing with the BVS Ultimate Cut, was you have this entire thing of... You have the BVS normal cut, and you're like, okay, it's cool, but it doesn't make a lot of sense story-wise. Then you look at the Ultimate Cut, and you're like, oh, you cut out all of the story. All of the things that make it make sense is what we got rid of. Gotcha.
Yeah, I remember the build-up to that Ultimate Cut. We're like, oh, then we both watched it. I remember it's like, oh, well, there was an actual story to this.
We watched it in theaters, and we're like, what the hell? Like, you were jizzing yourself, but...
Yes.
We, after the high ran off, I was like, the story doesn't make sense. What is going on in this movie? And you're like, no, it's super good. And then, like, after a while, you're just like...
Well, that's just me in general after a lot of movies. Then when we go back and watch them.
Especially anything DC.
Yes, because I try so hard to champion for them.
It's also weird that somehow... Lex knew about him being cyborg-ish, like, because of the video stuff that you're given for him, all you have is the experiment where he's being partially merged with the mother box, and that's it. That's Cyrus cuts out the feed, and that translates to...
Well, with the cyborg thing, what I don't get... Oh, yeah, you're still mopping that spot. With the cyborg thing, he's just like, boom, here's cyborg.
Hey, if you're a janitor and you get paid hourly... You work on that spot as much as you want. It's a graded floor. Do you know how hard that is to get stuff out of?
But to automatically gain access to one of the rooms where there's probably secret stuff you shouldn't be going in there for. And you know what's so funny? The first time we saw this, I remember...
This is a lot more bright than I remember it being.
Well, I've always noticed that with this movie. This movie's a lot more bright.
No, just this scene specifically, when you see the first thing of Themyscira and it starts popping in, that blue popped out a lot more than I'm used to.
In this temple... randomly,
you're on an island that no man can visit. Why do you have a separate place on the far end of the island where the most dangerous thing you have lives? Don't you think you'd keep that right in the center where you could watch it all the time?
Cool horseback riding scenes,
cool arrow firing scenes.
Because when we go across this plane and we're fighting, it looks cool. And plus too, it's just like the mother boxes. I remember I think my little cousin watched this movie and he was like, what's the mother boxes? That doesn't make sense. And I had to go with deep DC logic, be like, this is what the mother boxes are, and this.
The mother
and that.
boxes are a lot more common than just 3 of them existing too.
Yeah.
Mother boxes were like the.
Well, when Bruce and Diana later on talks about it, it's just so funny when they're like, yeah, well, we gave one to the Atlanteans the whole, we gave one to the Amazons the whole, and they build a shrine around it just so the Atlanteans and the humans are like,
just dig a hole.
Just dig a hole and bury it. No one will find it.
And it's the last one found.
In a stupid way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what they get for taking it above ground.
Yeah, you could even have them, like, if you really wanted to build this like they were trying to with the Man of Steel movie, then let's do a solo Batman movie, then another Man of Steel movie. You could have had the mother boxes in each of those movies, explaining them a little bit more in context of when you finally get to the Justice League movie. Because to the average moviegoer, you're like, mother boxes? What? Like, yeah. Okay, we're all mad at each other because of boxes? What do these boxes do?
Well, let's be honest. Speaking of boxes that were kind of mishandled, the Tesseract.
I knew you were going to say that.
I was going to that's good. It makes sense. The Tesseract was... If someone that knows nothing about Marvel Comics sees Tesseract, and they're like, oh, it's the thing that holds the the Space Stone. You're like, no. It is something completely different. They just happen to use that as a MacGuffin in this movie. And all the midriff Amazonians.
Oh, yeah. I remember all the controversy.
Which, to be fair, if this was an island, they should have waited a second to lower theirs. Is that Beth Phoenix?
Every time I see this, I always think that. But no, it was just funny. It's just like I thought they look awesome. I love this scene. Like, the scene really is kind of like in context of story wise. The Steppenwolf just coming out of nowhere and be like, "Hey, this is my stone. This is my not stones.
These are my Infinity Stones."
Wrong universe. Oh, Mother Box. It's so funny too with the actor who plays Steppenwolf. Is like, yeah, I mostly stood in a booth, never integrated with the actors or anything like that.
At least Josh Brolin got up in there.
Didn't I tell you too? They're gonna change Steppenwolf's look.
Yeah. Make him not look so ridiculous.
Yeah, well, he's gonna look more like that version you get in the Ultimate Cut. Remember where Lex is down there in the ship and whatnot. Yeah, I was wondering, what was the purpose of that water? That water was everywhere.
I have no idea. I think it's because it was from the pods that had the old Kryptonians in them, and it just all broke out of there.
Ew, so they're like in dead body juice?
Yeah. In dead, ungestated body juice. Well, it's literally what happens. That's where Darkseid is, or not Darkseid, where Doomsday is made.
Dead body juice. I thinking about it now. I'm like, ooh.
That's literally what it was.
Oh, when they bring back Clark's like, oh,
I taste my ancestors.
Really, guys?
Although technically, all of them are already in him because the Codex was put in him.
Oh yeah, all his people were inside him.
Which makes Jor-El really, when he popped back, should have been like, Clark, I need you to bone a lot. You have 100 different houses inside of you. You need to make some kids.
Lots of kids. There we go. That's why they moved it all the way to the island. Other side of the island.
But if it was just in the city, everyone would already be there.
Cool effects, man.
Hey, look, his space stone took him away.
Urge's horses. That's why I love watching these with you with
the subtitles.
The subtitles.
Well, I mean, we can't listen to it at full blast because then everybody else is going to hear it and we're going to get hit for copyright.
We always get hit for copyrights, though.
Nah. I also... to the midriff thing. Something I wanted to bring up. 2 things. One, if this was an island full of men and they were all shirtless, nobody would care.
Yes.
They would just be like, oh,
yeah,
they're so hot. And 2, if I lived in an island where everybody was that in shape all the time, hell yeah, I'm showing my midriff. It seems like it'd just be more comfortable.
I remember when the photo came out of them, and I remember screaming this and that and whatnot. I was like, hey, they're Amazon warriors. a little bit of the midriff open, they can kind of fight a little bit faster.
They can. Well, and that's warriors used to fight in buck naked. Like,
yeah.
I think it'd just be funny if someone was like in here archaeologically checking something, just arrow flies right through them, just
or just like you see the arrow, like, oh, that's
or they're working on something and they're about walking away and they're like, yeah, everything's fine here. I didn't do that, I swear.
I like how they don't have updated TVs either.
Well, that was in BBS. Freaking the one at Martha's place is still one of like you got to turn the little knobs and like press the power button.
That's where I get lost in time with like I'm like, well, what year is this set in?
Turns out it's 1950s. It's just Lex Luthor's 1950 where he advanced everybody's technology.
And right here, when I was going back to the janitor, and remember, like I was like, this is so stupid. Why are we showing this? And then when you watch the movie over and like, well, duh, that's the janitor's wife. It's just so weirdly misplaced, and like, why
it's
do I
still...
even care? But it's to drive the story forward to be like someone stole my husband. Then we'll get to that payoff later on.
I feel like it was just a reason to make an alien stole my husband's joke because she wasn't there. How the hell does she know?
Well, she's thinking the racist terms of aliens.
Exactly. I mean, it was what looked like Central Park, so giving recent events.
Yeah, and this scene too. I remember like being in the theater with you. We're like, this is weird. Like
this doesn't fit most of the tone of the movie.
And I will say this: I feel this is a Joss scene.
See, and that's what I was expecting you to say a few times: is Joss scene, Zach scene, Joss scene, Zach scene.
And I was gonna do that, but with story wise, like the Russian famine that comes later on too. That's totally Joss. Like this here, I think just to include.
What makes you think that's a Joss scene? Considering I don't know it as a Joss Whedon movie that has that kind of because that's not central, but characters that are introduced that you're supposed to care about. Like, oh, let's see if they make it out or not. There's nothing like that in Avengers. Buffy the Vampire doesn't ever really like cover that kind of thing. Firefly definitely never covers something like that. So what makes you think that's a Joss scene?
It just feels Jossy. It's gonna be my new term, Jossy. I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying, like.
Then the really dark sullen will be seeming snidey.
Jossy and snidey. These are real terms. These are real things.
No, it's. I do say though, oh gosh, I love Martha's. He said you're the thirstiest girl he's ever met.
Oh, yeah. I was looking at this. Okay, so the box office for this was $657 million.
Off of like over $300 million to make it.
That's what I'm looking up. I'm looking up the budget for this because wasn't there like a crap ton of reshoot? Yeah, the budget was $300 million.
Yeah.
So you only made back half,
which is terrible. I also like how Batman systems can be hacked accidentally.
Well, to have that idea of Batman being hacked so easy and like really not explaining Victor's powers growing here. They're just like, yeah, now he can access the entire system.
We never explain anything about Victor's powers, whatsoever. We, like, the closest thing we have is that there's a part where Aquaman questions his allegiance.
And he's picked, like, that picture right there.
You're like, it's funny because that was actually a picture that Alfred was intentionally taking for Bruce's Instagram.
But, sir, would you want the bat suit on?
I'll say I'm cosplaying.
This weird hangar bay with the lights coming in, but it's still underwater.
Yeah. The more I watch this, the more I'm like, that has to be, like, fluorescent lights, but the way the light's coming in doesn't look like fluorescent lights. It looks
up
like...
top, too.
I know. It looks... And there's holes in there. Like,
yeah.
And then when this thing pops out, it's underwater.
Well, it's so funny. It's like this ship is sort of like a big deal, but then it automatically gets taken down.
I mean, it's their Quinjet.
It was a way to sell a toy.
Yeah.
If you really want to look at it.
No, that was... I mean... We want to talk about a lot of things. A lot of things in this movie are to sell toys. But that's almost any superhero movie nowadays. I also think we could have started with this story.
Well, I heard Zach tweeted out a picture of Darkseid
behind.
during this war, and I'm like, oh, okay.
But then he shouldn't have lost, because Darkseid doesn't lose. Darkseid especially doesn't lose gracefully.
Yeah.
So,
oh, but seeing his Omega beams.
His Omega beams have always been hilarious to me to watch in context, just because Superman already fires beams from his eyes, and someone had to go, how do we make that different and unique to Darkseid? What if we have them make sharp angles? Oh, okay.
Like, he'll shoot over there, but it actually goes over there.
Yeah. Well, which to Justice League, Dark Apocalypse War, why did he need the giant magma to be dropped there if he could have just used his Omega beam?
I wonder if this is going to be the opening scene. So we can get a little more context of what all of this means,
Didn't I just say that?
No, that's what I mean.
Should have been the opening scene.
Like, are they gonna just switch Steppenwolf out with Darkseid, and have Darkseid like he lost his battle, so then he gets Steppenwolf to be like, I need to go home and recharge. We need to redo this again. I'm sending you, because there's really there's a little explanation with Steppenwolf, but not enough to be like, why is he the main villain?
Yeah. I also think it's a little sad.
There's my Green Lantern.
Yep, and he's gone. I also think it's a little sad that with things that are brought in and never really talked about is the Greek gods. Like, there's Ares. He's going to be killed in like a couple centuries, but And then you have Apollo, you have Zeus, and I'm just like, can we get a movie with these guys? Because they're pretty awesome.
Well, it's just like that great storytelling in Wonder Woman where they do that nice little montage, crazy painting looking thing, and with this, it's just like, yeah, here's the gods. Here you go.
Which, I mean, Zeus himself frickin' took out the mother boxes. So how strong is Zeus? And then we go to, because that's the thing, is Wonder Woman's not the only person that connects to the Greek gods. So does Shazam. And like, if we made just throw it in the hole, guys.
Yep. They were like, we were having a little bit of a ceremony with this box, and all this and that, and the man's just like, yeah, just dig a hole and dig it out back. And
we were gonna build a giant spire to it, but we thought, isn't that a little ostentatious? And then we figured out what the word ostentatious meant, and then we decided to instead bury it.
It'd be like, okay, guys, so we got a choice. We can have a ceremony and spend some money on doing this box thing, or we can take that money and buy some ale.
Yeah. Make some ale, buy some livestock, cook it up real good. We got a party.
Or do you guys want to do a little ceremony for this box? And it cuts everything out.
You literally just see, as he's explaining this, you see guys digging in the background. Are we going to get the ale or not?
Oh, and this, speaking of background, Cyborg, just back there being a creeper.
Being a creeper. Which is funny because you'd think if there were two people that could tell that there's someone around them.
You would think Batman.
Or Wonder Woman, the warrior.
Well, she does. She says, like, I could have killed you, or I could have...
No, she later says something about it, but right now would have been the time to talk to him.
And Bruce's system being hacked. And that later scene when you're like, you want to go on a date, pretty much.
Yeah.
This was... I wish they kept this out of the trailer, because it is a fun scene with Barry. But I remember this was in the trailer, that line where he says later on, I'm rich and whatnot. I'm like, these things you could have saved for the context of us watching it.
Let's be honest, they weren't sure what was going to actually make it into the movie and what wasn't when they made the trailer. So they're like, throw fun stuff in. Maybe that'll get people to like it more.
I do like his suit, though.
I personally think his suit looks too battle drawn to be for him. Because he's just like, all I've done is push some people. And you're like, cool, but...
Well, he trips a lot, too, remember? So that's not battle scars.
Yes, all these amazing looking details, it's just because I keep falling on my face. You'll notice the nose is actually chipped off.
Well, if they gave him an actual, like, his suit, kind of like how Batman's is and whatnot, then introduce that in the next movie because you know talk about them going to war and maybe Bruce is just like, hey, I made a design, you can play with it the way you want, and that's the new battle worn suit he's gonna go into battle with.
I just think I think it would have been better with that just skin level suit where like it's just a friction proof thing that he wears, doesn't armor him at all, just makes him faster.
Yeah, and I gotta give it up though to like Marvel because when they do costumes, they're like, we're doing costumes, and with this universe is like the one costume I really like is Batman's. Not that one we get at the end, but the Batman. We finally get a gray, black symbol. Resembles the comic book Batman because in every version of Batman we got, it's always this full on black suit.
With the yellow in the first one.
Yellow in the first one, and with that bat symbol being weird looking in the 89 version.
Yeah. But then... And then Batman and Robin with the silver ones.
Oh, yeah. Nipples.
Yep. I don't know. I also... We've talked... It's funny, because we're talking about things we've talked about before when we recorded this before, but since we haven't recorded this for other people to listen to yet, it's a little...
Is it weird?
Yeah, because it's hard to know what I've talked about to a point. To you, it ends in what we've talked about in this and what we've talked about in BBS. Because I will say, I really don't care that much for Ezra Miller's Flash. Like, the whole discussion about him...
Oh, I don't either. I absolutely hate his portrayal as Flash because, once again, it's kind of like casting-wise... for Aquaman, Jason Momoa, no fault to him. He got the role. He's going to do what he can with the role. But, in this version, he's a little bit more toned down than what he is in the second one. Because in the second one, they're like this. Hey, guys, we're here to have fun now. Jason, just be yourself. I'm like, but that's not Aquaman. And with Ezra Miller's Flash, he's stupid.
Mm-hmm. No, he's a flat-out idiot.
Yeah. And he's the comedy relief. He's the Jar Jar Binks of this movie.
Which sucks, because if anyone, like, he can be funny, but being a comedy relief typically makes him stupid in parts he really shouldn't be.
The man in the animated universe sacrifices himself twice.
Yeah, and in this one, he's just kind of a goof who can't walk over his own 2 feet without just falling.
He's not even running. He's like ice skating.
Gosh, his arm movements in it are the most distracting thing.
Especially at the end when he's like, it's just like, you're like, what are you doing? Oh yeah.
It's like he's got the wobbly arms as he goes back and forth. But
we need like $1 million more. Why? Because we have to finish the animation on the way Flash is running.
Wobbly arms.
Just leave it. It's a comic book movie.
5 years later, maybe we'll get someone else to remake it better.
Oh, that was another thing about this. Remember how we pointed out, showing her ass, and there's a cleavage in this, and later on there's another scene, and it was just like, that was part of the controversy too, because like, wow, they show a little bit more Wonder Woman skin.
Let's be honest, though, Gal Gadot was in Fast and Furious. We've seen everything that they're going to let us see. Like, if you want to ogle Gal Gadot, watch the Fast and Furious movies. There's that part.
Well, it goes to, like, you just had Wonder Woman released. Big, important movie, female superhero, this and that, women empowerment. Then you go watch that movie. Then you go watch this one. You're like, well, But do you feel like it degrades it? Degrades the character a little more?
Not at all. It's one of those... Wonder Woman, for the longest time, was wearing a frickin' Speedo. Like...
Yeah, the way she's been busty before, especially back in the 90s. So, but I'm talking about a movie form of, like, you have that first movie. It's a big deal,
Second, technically.
Well, the second.
She was in BBS.
You have that movie be a big deal. Everyone's crying, not crying, but, rejoicing. Patty Jenkins, the women movement, and whatnot. And then you go from that to this in the idea of, okay, well... She's a little bit more revealing in this than she was in Wonder Woman.
Well, I'll first put out the caveat that I'm sure a lot of people would point out that as a guy, I don't really have a lot to say in that aspect of if it's female empowering or not. But what I will say is that to me, the character hasn't changed between the two of those things. The only, just because she has a different set of clothing doesn't mean... I mean, Thor takes off his shirt in freaking every movie. so that we can see Chris Hemsworth's chest. Does that degrade him as a character?
Well, you thought so when you became Fat Thor.
I did not. I thought that was hilarious.
Well, the other day you're like, oh, I wish he wasn't fat for the whole time.
No, I was saying that...
Fat shamer.
No, I was saying that I think they make fun of it a bit too much. I don't have an issue with him doing that in general, especially because as a fat person, it gives me something better to cosplay. But...
And you actually can grow a beard and your hair out, so I think that would be a great cosplay.
No, and that's... But I'm just saying that like, Chris Hemsworth having... I mean, he literally, even in Endgame, when he's fat, has his shirt off. Like, every single Thor movie, I think, has a scene where he is without a shirt.
Well, here's, without his shirt, Mr. Aquaman.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but the tattoos still bother me.
I don't know. So... I've said this like a dozen times before, and I'm not the only person that's made this, and it's not because he's Samoan, but he looks a hell of a lot like Roman Reigns in some of these scenes. Like...
The music in this, too, is weird.
It is.
This is a White Stripes, right?
It's so inconsistent.
Yeah. You start with that weird song in the beginning, and then you have, like, these weird little cut-in songs.
Which you'd think that after Suicide Squad, when people are like, oh, they finally got the music right, they'd fix that. And then Wonder Woman was kind of more like, well, we're still doing our own kind of thing. We're not going to have a lot of, like, songs. We're not going to have any songs.
I still feel Wonder Woman's is... I can tolerate it now, but Wonder Woman's theme in these movies, like, the... it's still annoying. Yeah. Not that song.
No, that was Thor, and that's when Thor brought it back.
Yeah, Thor was like, I'm going to save this. Because it's so out there. Like, even in BVS, when you get to Wonder Woman stuff, you're like, eh.
So something we've talked about before on this scene is...
Air bubbles?
No. Well, that too. We'll get there in a second. But no, the parademons have already come and killed a few Atlanteans.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that thing on the ship was. Like, when he goes and helps the guy. Or maybe that's Atlantean blood is green. I don't know. They don't really explain it. But... Oh, no.
Can you imagine, though, if it took out his toe?
Yeah. But no. There's some dead Atlanteans already around there on his way to it. There was that ship where he saw all the stuff going on.
Yeah.
But Steppenwolf just teleported in there. So where was this precursor battle? Like, it never gets explained. It's just suddenly like Steppenwolf is here.
Why doesn't he have the parademons with him?
Yeah.
Because he shows up to the Amazons with the parademons. Why doesn't he show up here?
Maybe he didn't think they were a big enough threat.
They can't swim.
Yeah. Actually, there was a parademon right up there in the corner for a sec. But no, now we're at the bubble.
Oh man, it's a big difference with Mira in this one than in
Dude, I swear on this TV, watching that with Mira in the next one, her hair will probably blind us.
Yeah, with how red it is.
It'd be like the color red on our mic.
You remember? Oh my goodness, all the jokes they came like, wait a minute, he's Aquaman, so he can't talk underwater, so he needs air bubbles. Even Kevin Smith threw shade at that. He's like, but you know.
Yeah, low-hanging fruit, but I'm still just going to say that it's really stupid.
At least they fix it in the Aquaman movie where they can talk underwater.
Dude, imagine if they couldn't.
Yeah. You know how many air bubbles it takes for me to conjure up?
Mira's just standing there constantly, just, come on, guys.
No, they're like swimming towards each other. They see Mira, they're like pointing at each other, like, hey, can we talk for a second? She's like,
this is my life.
I'm the bubble person. All right, here we go. Jossie.
I don't know. If the father ended up killing a parademon, it'd probably be Snyder.
Probably. But it's just so it was just like one of those things in the theater. I remember like, who's this?
I also like the amount of reconnaissance that's gone into the fact that they know where to go to be in a dead zone, to be somewhere that, like, because they go into one of the coolant towers and you're like, cool, how do you know that? Like, yeah, you're from Apocalypse. I don't assume you have that kind of thing there.
Darkseid brought this property a long time ago.
I also like how the parademon just leave him alone.
Yeah. Then you get that
Okay.
weird. Does she do it here? Where she gets that bug spray?
Yeah, no, it's the next scene.
Yeah.
I think they're piling up the.
Picking this spot too for the final battle, and there's no ocean around.
I know. Aquaman's like, hey, can we go more oceanward?
I'll pay for the damage. Atlanteans, they got my back. We have a whole city.
Although he technically doesn't at this point in time.
Oh, yeah.
According to the...
Well, this was weird too. I was like, what is your plan with these mother boxes? I know it's to open a portal, but
Oh, it's not. It's to terraform Earth.
yeah.
It's terraforming Earth into Apocalypse's type of terror.
And when it
thing.
fails, it grows plants.
Yeah.
It grows flowers.
I also that poor parody was like, "What did I do?
I know.
You can't even speak out of turn. We're literally bug people. What did I do?"
Every time I see this, he's like, I was like, that was very unnecessary to grab that parademon to make your speech. Unless you're threatening everybody. I don't know why, but they all are on your side.
You guys who are my unwilling yet obedient servants, do what I say, or I'll choke you like this one.
But this Victor's dad's such an asshole. It's just like how he comes in, sees everything all on the floor, and the first thing he says is like, "Oh, Victor."
Well, because he thought his son got mad and threw stuff around.
Hey, right here.
I'm so sad. He got in such good shape for this role.
Oh man.
To do nothing.
But when he was cast as Jim Gordon, we're like, if you're gonna cast anybody as Jim Gordon,
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah. And all the pictures, we're like, what is he gonna do in this movie?
No, you just see him like working out and just like ripped, and you're just like, what the heck? But yeah, so something I was saying to you earlier about BVS was he literally like is on normal good speaking terms with Batman. Why would any of his people think to shoot Batman? Like he's even just like, what, you think he works with us for 20 years and then goes crazy?
To that fact too, is like, where's that Batman jet that we got?
The Batwing or the
one in BVS that he uses?
Oh yeah. That would be the Batwing.
Yeah.
You know the weirdest names of things is the fact that there's a Batwing and a Batwing.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's Batwing the jet, and then there's Batwing the character.
Yes.
And I'm like, could we not come up with a better name?
Yeah, but you have to pay extra for that. And Batwing just fit nice for the character.
It did, but you've had a device for multiple years prior to this.
I love that landing. Instead of like a traditional superhero landing, it's that little bit of a swing into it.
Well, he's old now. He can't superhero land as well as he used to. Bad for the knees and such.
Thank you, Deadpool.
I like how she also knows what a parademon is, yet she's never met one.
Yeah. Very common. Scary stories my mother used to tell me when I was a kid.
Batman has met a parademon before.
This too is like, Cyborg's here. Oh yeah, you're here. Looking at on this TV though, that CG's pretty bad on him.
It is. I also am still put off with how much an idiot the Flash is.
Yeah, because he doesn't contribute anything. Like in most movies or comic books with the Flash, he's like, hey, blah blah trajectory, goes into these little scientific facts, and
he's the smartest person typically in the room. He's not the most strategic. Batman's that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, right here, more comic relief. Yeah. The back of his helmet I don't like.
Yeah. I will say, that is the one line that regardless of what Flash you had, could have been in there and been fine. To me, because he's so fast he can literally go in the blink of an eye. But everyone else just vanished. And just, they vanished?
Still my favorite.
That's rude.
To the vanish part is when it happens to Batman and Dark Knight
in the
Rises.
Dark Knight Rises. So that's what that's like.
And I like how
they're
they
showing some cyborg butt and some Flash butt. Let's rejoice.
But I do like that in there, and how they make fun of it too. And Harley Quinn, especially, she's like, he does that, like he just disappears. Batman's like the worst.
He's the most rude person. Well, they made fun of that a long time ago with College Humor.
Yeah,
where it's just Harvey Dent, can he be trusted?
Yeah.
He's like, well, I don't know about, and like, are you trying to sneak away?
No, but like Harvey Dent.
Well, it's like that scene in The Dark Knight when they're standing in that circle. Like Batman doesn't talk most of the time. He's just like there, and they're doing that 360 shot. Then all of a sudden he's just like, "I have jurisdiction. You know, I can go get him."
And then it's just like, well, what's your plan? Oh, he does that.
Rude. Yeah. Well,
I like.
like this.
I remember the first time you actually enjoyed this scene, but I don't know. I think it's funny that like you have the apocalyptic or the apocalypse people's kind of perspective, and Earthlings were just like, we have families. Why does everyone keep telling me that? Like I care. Like next.
It's a good line.
No, and that's.
Like this scene's fun, but this right here, the bat speech, he's giving you that moment to become the hero, and then you completely throw it away later on just because you're an idiot.
Yep. You really would think that the nose would be a place you'd have covered slightly.
Why does
Such
everyone
bad
keep telling
CG.
me?
It's so funny to watch CG where there's a person interacting with something not person.
Yeah.
And like you just see someone grab, like this is something Marvel does too. When you see someone grab a non-CG thing, you're like, wow, I thought we had good technology, but I guess I was wrong.
Well, it's, I know the technology was a little bit dated then. It's just like the Jabba the Hutt scene in A New Hope when he steps over Jabba's tail. He's clearly stepping on a box or something to walk over, and it's so weirdly edited now. It's like a weird little.
Well, the last time I watched it was the special edition one where they have him have a reaction. Like the old one used to just be he walked over Jabba's tail.
Yeah.
And then it became Batman before he kills someone. Malunky.
Just save one, Barry.
Just Malunky one.
You know what'd be funny though? Like I've always wanted to see repercussions of like he's running with the lightning and whatnot, and he brings somebody back real fast. Their clothes just automatically catch on fire,
or they're in half because he was going too fast and snapped them.
Oops. Well, it goes to that fact of like in the original Superman movie when Lois falls off the building, Superman catches her. Everyone argues like, okay, well, physics wise, if she's falling that fast and he's the Man of Steel, her body would have went.
Well, no, and it makes me think of Days of Future Past, where Quicksilver, when he's running with someone, he grabs him by the base of the neck.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, just so you don't get whiplash. What? Whiplash. You're like, that makes sense. He's protecting the body. But Flash, when he carries people, is just.
One thing real quick. Remember I told you we've had this. It's so weird when we have to refer ourselves back to the old conversation of when we recorded this 2 other times.
Yeah.
That is like Batman's weakness.
The grappling gun?
He cannot live without it.
Yeah.
It's the one thing that makes him feel better to fight.
Mm-hmm. Although it is something. Do you know what other famous role the guy who played Cyrus Stone in this played?
What?
He's the guy from Terminator 2 that works for Skynet.
Yeah.
Like the guy that more or less makes Skynet.
Yeah, and then and he's in the end. He has the chip, and he says, "You guys got to take this hand and go put it."
And then he blows himself up too. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was just funny because I don't know who I was watching, but someone brought that up as a, man, you just need to quit making Terminators.
Maybe me. I know when I saw him in this movie, I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
No. It was someone I was watching. It might have been CinemaSins, but it was like someone professional. No offense to us.
What was this thing called? The bat.
The Walker.
The Bat Walker or something like that. We were like totally useless. Totally useless. Sorry guys, I don't have swords.
Yeah.
Oh, about to trip. Oh, sees a beautiful woman. Can't trip.
I'm not especially for the reasons that he's not being kept on. Probably, I don't feel bad for Ezra Miller in this, but I really do want the Flash to get more movies. Maybe not this Flash necessarily, but like, I'd like to know his life. You know.
It's fascinating. Like being
No. But like, I know his comic book life, but like the movie life, movie bringing it to life.
There he goes.
That should have broken a lot of things.
Wait, yeah, I think it said, oh.
Yeah. I like how Batman lived through that too.
Comes out of limbs just like in half.
Bones are just sticking out of his arms. Well, that's not right.
It's like in
Alfred will fix it though.
In Harley Quinn.
Oh gosh. That is brutal what happens to him in Harley Quinn.
Oh my goodness. The fact that he got shot.
I know. Well, that was like, have you seen Sonic yet? Sonic the Hedgehog? Yeah, well, I mean, you've probably seen from the trailers. He gets hit by a tranq dart. Mm-hmm. And you're like, you really shouldn't have been able to get hit by that.
Oh, I thought they made a joke about that.
No, I don't know if they make a joke about that off the bat, but...
Well, this is just like, what was your problem with it? Amazing Spider-Man. Remember when he gets shot?
Yeah.
And you're like, so your spider senses didn't tell you that you're about to get shot?
Your spider sense just missed that part. I also, the funny part for watching trailers versus movies is that scene he just had where he was flying, and in the movie or in the trailer, he has like this metal mask go in front of him. You're like,
oh yeah,
cool. And then the movie actually comes out and he doesn't. You're like, oh, well that makes more sense.
The Iron Man mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like the jokes were like, oh, this is DC's broke Iron Man. I'm like, no, pick up a comic book. Cyborg's much more than that.
I mean, Gotham Harbor.
I do like the fact too. After this, they point out how much of the damage.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Bruce will pay for it. That's so weird. Every time there's like a big incident, Bruce Wayne Foundation always sends us a check
for all of it. No, so truthfully, Barry should be better by now, because he should have advanced healing.
Yeah,
like hyper speed healing, to where, I mean, in Flashpoint Paradox, he gets an iron barb through the leg and is walking it off minutes later.
And out of nowhere, Aquaman.
I know.
I will say this, giving some kind of positive feedback to the Aquaman movie. I do like the fact that we actually gave him an more accurate costume than what they did in this, with the weird
black,
no color.
Yeah. So no, and that's, I mean, I think of the things that we talk highly of Aquaman is their costume design.
Oh, Orms?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! You remember? Even though with my distaste of that movie,
no, that was when because we did a video. Well, we did a small video after that one. I like how he knows the water's going to end there too. If it didn't, they just drowned.
Where's the League?
We curse Victor.
And Victor's like, I am the League.
Yeah.
Right there. Thank you, Lex Luthor, for giving us their symbols.
I know. That's what I'm saying, though. And Cyborgs makes the least amount of sense out of all of it.
Yeah.
That little C with a dot in the middle where you're like, where did you get this from?
Marketing.
It's the most marketable thing.
They never really... They kind of... When he just takes off, they're like, oh, well, now he has a mother box, too. So now we can move the story forward.
Where was it? Well, I was hiding it with this Russian family. I got there and back real quick.
That's why we go back to the Russian
That's why
family.
we keep going back to the Russian families, because Victor screwed them. They smell like the mother box.
And once again, the Parademons... Are they the only... No, they're not the only family in this village.
No, there's a lot of people. There's an entire building worth of people.
Still fun, especially with the Flash and Superman.
Kind of. Still pretty stupid.
You gotta think, though, with them in that... Oh, we'll get to that.
The thing that's stupid about it is the structural stability.
Yeah.
If you push a car going really fast, that's one thing. It has tires, they roll. If you pick up an entire building by one central point...
And put it on its side?
Well, it's not even that. It's you just pick up the building in general. It's not going to stand.
Batcave.
Victor's like, yeah, no, he literally lists it as Batcave on his security feeds.
Trust me, I hacked into it. Very easy, by the way. Maybe you should check on that. Maybe I can give you an antivirus software plus some security software.
You know what would have been nice if, because Diana was there during World War One, if she'd been part of the people that found the mother box initially.
Yeah, that would have made sense.
And then she went back to Themyscira to find out what it was. That's how she knows everything about Steppenwolf, even though it doesn't really involve her.
And and I feel like too, for the sake of story, with everything that was happening behind the scenes and whatnot, it was kind of like WB's just like, just put the movie out there, make it make sense to some certain point. We'll wash our hands and whatnot. And now that the fact that they actually gonna have him go back and actually redo it, you're like, all right, Warner Brothers.
But it's...
Why are you stealing stuff?
I just think it's weird that they bring up the point of it happening in World War One when Diana was around.
Yeah, she doesn't say anything.
She's like, I don't remember that happening. Yeah, it was this guy, Steve Trevors, I think, was part of the team that found it. And you'd be like, okay.
When did this happen? That's one of the deleted scenes off the Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
Patty Jenkins is like, I'm going to go back and I'm going to recut Wonder Woman.
Now we're going to have a recut Wonder Woman where she helps find a mother box.
This scene, though, here, with how dickish Bruce gets, is amazing.
Yeah. It's just one of those, I think this movie takes away from the end of BVS, too, where you have the little floating dirt on the top of his thing, where you're like, okay, well, if comic books are anything to be believed, he's just going to resurrect on his own after time because his Kryptonian biology is just super well versed to that.
There is a deleted scene. Didn't make the Blu-ray, but there is a scene that was released by Warner Brothers where you see the black suit. The one that helps him.
Mm-hmm. The one that absorbs sunlight.
Yeah. And I'm just like, such a missed opportunity not to have it. So, I wish I got the black suit. Like, he was actually wearing the thing. Oh, yeah. Good little thing with...
Just breaks his ribs. Just...
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to be on the sideline for the rest of this.
I'm going to sit down for a sec.
Right here. Superman is a beacon to the world. I mean, you didn't think that before.
It's definitely not what he showed in the last movie. But, okay, maybe he did. Maybe it was a beacon of hate.
or unless between movies he went and found himself.
Well, but it's also something like the beginning of this movie is everybody mourning the death of Superman, where in the last movie we had protesters so adamantly against Superman.
Well, could that go towards today's society of being like, oh, we're such flip-flop? Because when he goes to the court...
Are we, though? Because I feel like we're a society of people who are very stuck in their ways.
Well, maybe... Like in the aspect of like that scene when he goes to the court and there's people protesting, like the little anti-Superman signs and whatnot. Mm-hmm. It would be awesome if you found out that Bruce was behind all those shirts.
It would have to be Lex. Lex would be the one because Bruce is more brooding against him.
But he's making money off him. He's like, here's these anti-Superman shirts.
This is how I made my billions. I thought we lost them, but we made them.
Oh yeah, pets. Very. Could have say something sciencey. You have to bring up Pet Cemetery.
I mean, let's be honest. He is supposed to be a combination, I think, of Grant Gustaf and Tom Holland, where he has the.
I feel like that's an insult to those.
It is. No, most certainly. You don't mix those two things together. But what I'm saying is that he is supposed to be the Flash.
Yeah.
Who has cool abilities, yada, yada, yada. But he's also evidently, I think he's supposed to be more it for the young crowd.
Yeah.
Of, he's young and hip and he makes references to everything. Because that's what Tom Holland's Spider-Man is in Civil War. Is just a reference machine.
This room... Like,
it'd be really funny if he had several rooms that were dedicated to different time periods, and that was kind of a nod to that time that he got hit by the Omega Beam and traveled back in time.
yeah, but I remember, like, I was like, wait, where's this in the Batcave?
This is my Zen room.
That's where I found myself. I built this after Superman died, and then I took yoga instructions. And
Well, truthfully, he has trained in so many martial arts. Who's not to say he's not a samurai master?
Yoga's not a... I was like, yoga's a martial art? But no. Then I saw... right when I said yoga.
I was like, where are you getting yoga from, anyway?
He had to zen out. And this does not look like that cemetery in BVS.
And there's a lot of grass everywhere. How long is this supposed to have taken after BVS? Because BVS took place 18 months after Man of Steel.
Yes.
But
this doesn't really fall anywhere. It's just like...
After?
Oh. Yeah.
Well, it's not long enough that Lois has moved on.
Is that the same tombstone?
That's the same one that was shown earlier in this movie. I don't know about...
No, I mean BVS, because you just recently saw BVS, so...
Yeah, I can't say I was hugely paying attention to Clark Kent's gravestone.
Well, I'm going to go back and watch it now.
Yeah. I mean, I have to figure...
Didn't you say this scene would have been so much better if Green Lantern was in it?
If it was the Flash and Green Lantern talking.
Yeah.
Like, this is a scene made for Hal and Barry to go back and forth. But, no, I think it's funny that Barry pretty much gives his entire character in this episode, or in this scene, where he's just like, Cyborg's like, you were struck by lightning. He's like, yeah, it's the abridged version. That's pretty much what we get from Barry in this movie, is the super abridged version.
And this weird little... So, I've always wondered if there was going to be some weird love connection between Bruce and Diana, because they kind of hinted at...
They kind of hinted at it, yeah.
You know, she does walk in without his shirt on. Well, help him take his clothes off.
And fix his arm very
Yeah.
painfully.
His powers are just, like, upgrading so much. Like, you can hack into systems? Well, I hacked into Bruce's, so...
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. You know, I'm fairly certain that it might be standard protocol to check the thing that some people are bringing in.
Not here.
Yeah.
If they have it still here...
Yeah. Also, this isn't really, like, super time pertinent. Like, there's not, like, like, they have the mother box.
Yeah.
There's not, like, a super crunch time to bringing Batman back. So when they find out this thing doesn't
Bring
work...
Superman back?
Yeah, sorry. But when they find out this thing doesn't work, like, because they need power or whatever... Why didn't they just, like, okay, let's go get a generator real quick? Flash is like, I can do it. Well, it takes extreme precise timing. I can do it. Are you sure? We can just grab some jumper cables. We got a truck outside.
And...
When he comes back, he's merged with the picture. Things that were touching that water also got used. I also like how most of the other mother boxes are just flat out normally active.
Yeah.
But this time is the one time it's not.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's because Cyborg hacked into it, finally. Because I want to see some boom tubes. I'm going to be honest. That was the one thing I felt like we
got a lot of boom tubes in this movie.
But from Cyborg?
Well, we got none. We don't
Yeah.
even know if he can produce a boom tube.
Yeah. His powers are upgrading very well, so he should be able to make some boom tubes. And they had to give some purpose to the Flash.
But that was... So the reason he could do the boom tubes in the initial thing was a mother box was integrated into his system. The mother box is the reason he has his system.
Didn't they explain that, though? That they used that mother box technology in BVS? Because it was clearly on the table.
No, he uses... The mother box is what, like, pulls the things and connects them into him. But the boom... Like...
And he says he can hear it, too.
But we're talking about the continuity.
Yeah.
Of...
I was just Cyborg with the mother boxes?
Yeah. But yeah, when literally inside of him there is a mother box. You know, Barry probably could have just ran around that room a bunch until he charged up enough.
Yeah, instead of like waiting.
Yeah.
Right there, weird running.
Flippy little arms.
He has noodles. And this weird little... Did you jump? Or
He just completely overdoes it and just flies through, and this the thing hits the water and nothing happens.
No, the thing is, like, he tripped.
He just
He didn't
recovered.
mean to do it this cool, but he just tripped.
But he just gets impaled. Oh shoot, Barry! I guess we'll have to call his cousin Wally.
And he's pissed.
Yeah.
You imagine those guys in that building, they see that explosion, like, oh man.
They just see that explosion and they go, man, I'm thankful there's those 2 Bath and Body Works on the other side. I need some new stuff.
You know, if with all this, where's the rest of the statue?
I think it's like a ways behind them when Superman got thrown through it.
It's such a weird shrine too in the middle.
Yeah, it's also just super weird in general that like they have this just completely cleared park area in the middle of this giant city. At least Central Park has like a bunch of like big trees.
Isn't this where that big crater was?
Is this
In Man of Steel? You know.
Oh yeah, where the thing was above it initially and just
Yeah.
it was dubstepping on.
Yeah, it's like.
Drop the house.
It's also so weird that he.
He's checking them out.
Well, not that. But that he has this level of things he remembers.
Well, sure he's got hair chest. Can he just put some of that on his face?
Yeah.
What was the mustache thing from? Was it like
Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible?
Fallout, I think.
Alright, I thought it was that other movie. There's another movie he's in.
But Mission Impossible. You might be thinking of Chris Evans, because he has the beard at the end of Avengers because of Snowpiercer.
Probably, yeah.
But
Probably getting mixed up.
But yeah,
His CG doesn't look too bad here. It's just when he gets something close to Batman.
yeah.
Cops are like, well,
It must suck to be a cop in some of these places. God, Barry, shut up.
alright, which sword is that one?
That's not the God Killer. It's evidently the one that could cut through Darkseid, but we have no explanation to that sword. Yes, it was so effective the first time.
I just like how he wrecks them.
It pretty much proves the pointlessness of the rest of the Justice League.
Well, you know, I wish we had this. Could have been like, maybe a little bit more towards the beginning of the movie. You know, we get the explanation. We gotta be like, okay, well, we gotta resurrect Superman. How can we resurrect Superman? Then
You don't have to resurrect Superman, though.
I know you don't have to, but in the context of this, I would love. Such a failed missed opportunity to actually have the team work together because he just shows up at the end and you're like, oh yay, now they're the Justice League, and that's funny.
Yeah, that was probably the best Barry Allen part of this movie. Was that Superman can keep up with him.
His face right there is like, oh.
But you think about it, if he's as fast as Flash, or at least close.
Why do I even need this team?
No. He could have just murdered all of them.
Well, there goes that monument to all the people that died.
I know. That one too.
At least they got it. At least they had this really nice shrine instead of those weird ones in Endgame, where it's just a bunch of weird
That are not in any form of alphabetical order.
Yeah. I remember seeing this, and he was like, "You."
Yeah. He's like, yeah, no, yeah.
Right there, he called Diana. I was like, Diana.
Stop him.
I'll stand over here by this car, this cop car. Oof. Headbutt.
I always thought it was. I really do think that Lois and Clark makes a little less sense than Clark and Wonder Woman.
Why?
Because they're on each other's levels with Clark and Wonder Woman, with Superman and Wonder Woman, and they can deal with each other a lot easier. Where Lois is always being saved by Clark, or Clark's emotionally always being saved by Lois. Mm-hmm. Where with Wonder Woman, it's... But with Wonder Woman, she doesn't need that emotional pillar of Superman, and she can still be that emotional pillar for him. Like, all the times where they're together, and she's the one keeping him on the straight and narrow, it makes so much more sense than Lois.
Like how he just throws Batman. But no cop was like, why is Bruce's butler here?
I like how the cop's pointing his gun at Superman like it's going to do anything.
He backs up, though. He seems like, yeah, you know what?
Today's a good day to have not fired this thing.
He just walks away. He's like, yeah, you know what? I've seen enough.
I was going to fire just because I've never fired my gun in line before. But
you just see him over by Batman's body just taking a selfie.
You see him behind Superman just popping him in the back. Just, yep, it's Superman, guys.
Here we go. Jokey Batman.
But, I mean...
Maybe that's where you face palmed.
No. It was well
I think it was a good groan. You were like, ugh.
No, I think I found that kind of funny.
It's funny, but it's just so weird to come. The mother box.
The mother box is gone. That thing that you guys were like swearing to protect and you needed Superman to help you with. Yeah, it's gone. Flash, you want to go grab that? We still have. Oh no, it's gone.
He's gone. You know, Flash, you're useless.
Hey, Flash, do a couple laps around the world looking for the mother boxes, if you'd be so kind, or at least parademons.
He got shot in the leg. So did he superhero fast?
Yeah, well, he eventually did.
Yeah.
He didn't get shot in the leg this fight. He fell down this fight.
They're like, hey guys, got shot in the leg. What?
How? That cop that was shooting at Superman? Yeah, he found his target on accident. No, but what I was going to say is I'm not opposed to jokey Batman. I'm not opposed to him cracking every once in a while. Because Batman's done that. Batman has made...
But it's very subtle, like, that's such...
And it's the fact he doesn't make jokes that makes it funnier when he actually does make a joke.
Why are you breaking my shit?
Don't do that.
I'm like, you're so rude. You come in, you steal from me, and now you walk in there.
The thing I stole was broken!
This is not the Batcave. Is this the actual Batcave?
This is the Batcave.
No, from BVS.
I think so.
Because I'm always trying to make comparisons to...
You never get to see the full one, but that section that he was talking to earlier...
Yeah, well...
See, and this is what I'm saying, is they lead towards this part a little bit, well, and then he interrupts and it's stupid.
Yeah, with those blood sugar. I'm hungry. You know, burn a lot of calories.
Yeah.
Every time I fall.
Yeah, falling on my face actually empties my stomach. It's empty a lot of the time. But no, like I was saying, I don't mind jokey Batman. Like, especially the old Tim Burton Batmans were jokey. And I'm not even talking about the Schumacher ones. Remember when Batman with Vicky Vale, when they shoot up, how much do you weigh? How much do I weigh? 108?
Yeah.
108, huh?
But, I don't know. In this one, it's a little bit more out there. You know, like the sword line. The weird, hey guys, I don't have a sword, you know. And
that was just a Batman line, though, in general. Where it's like the daddest of humors, so it's not even really that funny.
The humor I like with Batman is like in Justice League War, when Hal's like this, what are you, a vampire? Well, then he just goes, wait a minute, don't tell me you're just some guy in a suit, and all he does is a little smirk. And he's like, what? You know?
Well, he literally already taken the Green Lantern's ring by then.
Oof. You imagine, like, if they really wanted to dive in deep, especially to this Batman, the wear and tears, because they make that, Alfred makes that line where he says, we've gone from battling penguins and penguins.
Oh, yeah.
One remembers when the most difficult of villain, or the biggest thing we had to fear was wind-up robot penguins.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another. I've watched too many things related to this movie. There's another thing from the same people, the Toon Sandwich people that I showed you that trailer combination from.
Yeah.
In Justice Leagues, where he says that, and he's just like, Alfred, those are still my primary fear. Please tell me you didn't stop doing the hourly sweeps. No, Master Wayne. At 1:45, there were no penguins found.
He didn't take off his shirt. Because I for some reason, I thought she helped him take off his suit, too. Then that's the Snyder cut.
But we already have, like, shirtless Momoa a couple times.
With that, that scene's so funny though when he goes into the water and you can tell there's a water cannons that are shooting him.
I just think it'd be funny to like watch the full recording of that of his ass just being thrown back after.
All right, so when you're gonna shoot the water, kush.
Well, I mean that's the way you get the best reactions is when they're not doing it. But if you don't want a reaction, that might not be the thing to do.
I like too that we can with this they explore a little bit more of what the Batsuit looks like without the cape, without the symbol. Whoever designed it did such a great job. Ugh, the cornfield.
Well, it's like it's like the Nolan Batmans. Like that has some of my favorite suit stuff in it because they explain like in the first one, it's a physical like hardened Kevlar suit where no bullets are getting through that. But then you go to the second one where he's just like the problem that every Batman has. Like, it's not flexible enough for me to do stuff in.
Turn my head when I want to get out of the driveway.
Yeah.
Well, this one, though, I like just because it's just so accurate and to his utility belt, to him rocking those boots. I don't know why, but I feel this is Jossie.
I don't know 100%. This might be, I think this is probably late Snidey, where like things were kind of wrapping up and he needed to make things connect. But
wasn't we made fun of the fact like, where'd you get the clothes?
Yeah, where did they get any of the clothes?
Didn't your mom just sell this?
No, it got foreclosed on. She didn't sell dick.
Yeah.
It got foreclosed and taken from her and she moved out. So unless she just took all of her husband and dead
left
sons,
his room?
Yeah, just left all that there.
I was like, you're a dick, Mom. You just took her stuff.
Just because, like, wow, this is exactly how I left it. Why is there a foreclosed sign outside? Why are there people looking at the... Mom, did you leave my room?
No, you walk in, there's people already moved into the house. You're like,
oh my god. Yeah, I'm gonna need this back.
Who do you think you are? Superman.
It's just like, you know what? If you really want the land so much, you can keep it. But I'm keeping the house.
Flying off, you see that family. The dad just sitting there drinking a beer, watching TV. He's like, my house.
It's like, my house is gone. Hey, my fridge was in there. Our kid was also in there. I'll raise him as my own.
And you just see the kid drop. And the fridge.
The fridge falls on the kid. The dad, my fridge!
He sees the kid fall first. He doesn't have a reaction, then the fridge falls on him.
I thought you said you were going to raise him as one of your own. Yeah, I can fly.
I was trying to teach him how to fly, you know.
Do Earth children not learn how to fly by being thrown out of their floating houses? Because I have a lot to learn about Earth culture then. Let me tell you, Lois got pissed the first time we had a kid.
Jor-El told me you just throw the kid out the window and see what happens.
Jor-El told me that's an Earth custom. Yeah, not since the Spartans.
And it's so funny, the neighbors are probably like, what's going on over there?
Is she back? Is she not? Why is her dead son there?
We just had a funeral for him and everything.
I know, like the entire city showed up. Or town, I guess, but still.
Playing bagpipes and where they bury his fake body in Washington.
They buried an empty casket.
Yeah, empty casket in Washington.
Be the funniest thing is if
there was a fake body.
Yeah, there was a fake, and they're like, "Wait, who the hell did we bury?" Just dig it up, and it's some other person. Oh shoot!
It's a different color dude. It's not even like the same.
It's Doomsday.
Yeah, they're like,
This isn't right.
how did we miss this? Guys, we spent a lot of money on the bagpipes and the guns and the funeral service.
All of the plaques we made for him were handcrafted out of platinum.
Yeah.
I still look at the promise, and we talked about this a little earlier, but look at the promise that could have been of the black-suited Superman.
Yeah.
Like, I really like Black Suit Superman. It always comes out at, like, the most, let's say, opportune time.
Yeah, and there was. And it's just so weird, though. Like, that deleted scene I told you about, it wasn't released with the initial DVD. Mm-hmm. It was released later, and I hate that. It's just like how they do it with most movies, like Endgame. Remember, they're like, hey, by the way, second release, and we have these weird added scenes. I was like, well, then why aren't those on the Blu-ray?
Yeah, for real. Like, people are like, I had never actually saw the re-release of Endgame, and people were like, yeah, there's a scene where the Hulk saves some kids from a vehicle, and I'm like, why isn't that in the deleted scenes then?
No, he doesn't save him from a vehicle. He saves him from a burning building.
Oh, either way.
Yeah. Then he gets a call, like, I think that's the scene right before he meets him at the diner.
Mm. Hey, look, it's the Quinjet. It's, the Batfish?
I had that toy. I got it for like $10 at Walmart.
They're flying away, and Alfred's just like, I guess I don't get to go on this adventure.
No, he's like, sir, how do I get this to go down? They come back, he's still there.
He's just like disheveled and has been there for like 3 days.
This is why I tell you, Master Bruce, always pick up your phone. I do love the Batmobile. So what would you say is your favorite Batmobile? Not just the DC,
89.
89?
89. I love that iconic kind of like curve to it with like the middle part that comes in. Looks like it's kind of a turbine. It's got the fire just right out the end with the little bat wings. Like, people have emulated that since. Like, the animated series one is like a longer version of that. But 89's.
I gotta say the Adam West. Just because of the iconicness, and I would say second to that would be the Tumbler. Because I was like, okay, well, if you have a dude that's going to roll around, in these missions, it's very bulky, yes. But I gotta say, this Batmobile, I love over the Tumbler because it just makes more sense to me.
So this is your second then?
That's the problem, is like, I love the Tumbler too much because when the Tumbler was introduced, I was like, that's pretty smart. He has something that's just going to wreak havoc.
It's practical,
Yeah.
is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And this one is also practical. But what I'm saying is, I don't disagree with the Adam West one
Funny.
I know, it's kind of funny. But if there was a Batmobile that I was going to just drive in my daily life, just go around, have it, whatever, yes, it would probably be the Adam West one. Because that's one that you
more functional.
Yeah, it's more functional as a vehicle.
Yeah, you imagine trying to take turns in the 89.
Someone owns that. I think Jeff Dunham
probably owns a copy of it, not the actual vehicle.
I don't know. But
if you own the actual vehicle, that thing doesn't go up any past 20 miles per hour.
It might actually be that then. but no, I mean, could you imagine though taking something like a Lamborghini, the body, the engine, and just kind of molding out of it that kind of Batmobile?
Yeah.
Although that Batmobile, the one from this movie, very much elicits what's it called? Speed Racer.
Yeah, I just watched that the other day too.
The way the wheels turn on it, how the wheels are like a separate function. They don't turn in with the vehicle; they're outside of the vehicle, and they can make extremely sharp turns.
I remember being introduced to this Batmobile and being like in awe because it was during the scene where he's
murdering people,
but just like he's just running through walls. This thing has a bomb here, has the bomb here, has the bomb here.
Hey, this ship I spent so much time making
doesn't mean squat.
Is about to go down after it fired its first set of missiles.
Yeah, the toy I got, even though I paid $10 for it, really didn't have anything else but like cool inside to look at. It was just more or less the shell of it. It was like, oh, okay, it's big and bulky.
Yeah. That's pretty much every depiction for anything Batman in this one.
But I do have the Batmobile, and it did not fit in that jet. The toy said it did, but it did not. So
That's funny. Well, I mean,
there's the scene. There's the little bit of Batman right there.
mm-hmm. But just like ever so slightly, like I feel like. Do you remember when the first Transformer? It might have been the first Transformers. One of the early Transformer movies came out, like not the animated ones, but the live action ones, and
LaBouffe?
Yeah. And Stan Bush was going to be like, hey, I'll make a rock version of You've Got the Touch for this, like a modern rock version of You Got the Touch. And Michael Bay was like, no. But you're like, that's like the most iconic song attached to your entire thing, and you won't even like touch it? Where with this one, they went, okay, well, here's the very slightest bit of the Batman theme in here. Take it. Not like a modern version.
I just think that's just directors in general. You know, it's especially ones with big egos like a Michael Bay, even Bryan Singer. Even though he's not allowed to touch anything anymore, he remember the first X-Men movie. He told people, "Don't bring comic books on the set. You know, we're changing their suits completely into these weird black leather things, and because I want my version of the X-Men."
Which, at least with a few of them, makes a little more sense. Like if we'd gotten Hugh Jackman first movie running around in yellow spandex.
But back then, yes. Now we're like, just give them the yellow spandex.
They'll make it work though. Where back then they literally would have just been like, "Hey, we're gonna put spandex on you, and have your sideburns sticking out." I don't have sideburns. You're gonna grow some sideburns. Actually, he did have that in the first movie.
Yeah, the chops, the mutton chops.
Yeah.
Very red.
I know. Well, I like how. I mean, that's something that we're both pretty confident is Jossie thing.
Yeah.
Where this used to be just all black,
dark,
which part of me is okay with it being not just that super, like can't see anything going on.
Well, watching BVS last week and you watching BVS this morning, the color tones and color schemes, especially on Superman's suit, woo, like.
You know what would have been really funny here? If the bat pod had popped out. Like, and he was back in Two Wheels.
Yeah, I think that's another thing about the Tumbler I liked. I'm like, that thing's in there? Oh, okay.
That was one of the cool parts of the Tumbler.
Oh, this is the team. He said it.
Yay, we're trying to have an Avengers moment of everybody doing their attacks.
That weird little Wonder Woman smile.
Smirk, yeah. It's called a Quindent, and nobody cares. Seriously, the first action that Aquaman makes, he gets his ass kicked.
Well, is that the same trident he uses in the movie?
In the beginning of it, yeah.
Yeah, because it's his mother's, right?
Yep. It's the Quindent that his mother has. My man. Woo! I can't fly.
But this was, I will admit, this was pretty badass. He's like, I'm gonna ride you like a surfboard.
Into a hard surface. That shouldn't have worked, but okay. But no, they don't even have. At least with Avengers, they have that scene where it sweeps through, and everybody's powers
everyone's
together.
yeah.
Where this one's just everybody is doing their own thing, and that is the Justice League.
Yeah,
a bunch of individuals, not a team.
Well, because Superman's punching things, Batman's doing tactical things in the background, Wonder Woman's doing the same thing Superman's doing, but on the ground level.
Yeah.
She's not flying. I wonder if they're gonna finally make her fly though in the next movie.
I don't know. Well, but it wouldn't really make a lot of sense if they did, would it? Because she's already gone so far without flying.
Yeah. Well, we shall see. The inconsistency of DC superheroes' powers is so funny to me because going back and rereading things and hearing about weaknesses, and then all of a sudden it's like, Diana can fly. No, Diana can't fly. Or,
Yeah. Imagine if the Parademons had acid blood like they're supposed to.
I was just thinking that. I was like, we could have just ended the Flash right in there. Problem solved. Thank you. Did he trip? Yeah.
Right through his foot. I would have laughed. Just
No, when Batman catches him, you just hear, like, you know, like he pulls his leg out of his socket.
Not even that, he Gwen Stacy's him.
That I wouldn't mind. Especially with this Flash.
Now it's Gun Batman.
Yeah.
You know, for having
So much
never
better
handled
than
one of those before, you're pretty good.
You know, so much for my Batarang.
I know. Well, so I always thought it was interesting. Batman refuses to touch Oh, she's gonna kill Victor.
Victor just explodes.
No, even better. She hits that and the ground breaks below all of them, except for Victor and Steppenwolf, who just stand there just watching them fall. Okay.
Back to the family.
Yeah.
I want... Oh, yeah, because Alfred's keeping scan of the whole place. Like, hey, by the way, there's people there. What? In this hellhole?
Yeah.
Who would live here?
So herein lies my question about this. They all have a way to speak to each other.
Yes.
Headphone, microphone, whatever. Which doesn't make sense when the Avengers do it anyway.
I was just about to bring up that. I was like, well, it doesn't really make sense in the Avengers, too, because they all could talk to each other.
And that's fine. Like, they were all literally part of the same group meeting before this happened.
Well,
But I'm saying that
Captain
when
makes
Superman,
a gesture to his...
I know. No. But I'm not talking about Avengers in this, though.
Okay.
I'm saying that they're, like, in Endgame.
Yeah.
We'll do Avengers real quick. In Endgame, all the people that come through the portal, most of them evidently have headphones. Because, like, Valkyrie can talk to everybody somehow, even though she wasn't part of the initial group that was going into it. But what I'm saying is, in Justice League, it makes more sense because they all start from the same place, except when Superman comes in.
Then he hear them all.
I'm fairly certain he can't. Well, I guess he has super hearing.
Yes.
So. Wow, someone's.
And... you missed this total DC thing. Rip him in half.
You rip him in half. No, he was going, what's it, Norman Bates there a little bit?
Yeah.
Don't touch mother!
There he is.
I'm fairly certain, isn't that the scene that was shown in the trailer from wearing black?
Think so.
Oh my gosh.
Hey guys, we can sit down now.
Yeah. Oh, Academy Award for acting right there. Alright.
Mo was just thinking that too. My mustache.
My facial hair. You will die now. Man, imagine if Superman had actually helped with that part and put the Quindent through Steppenwolf.
Hey, we cool? You know.
Yeah, I know that we've both tried to kill each other in the last 2 times we've met. But
That would have been a good joke when Superman would be like, can we talk about that later? Not right now.
well, the world's in danger, and little did they understand that if we were to pull this apart, they'd be in less danger. I can help those people. Yes, you can help them right now.
You know, it's so crazy too. It's like when you start this movie and you're here, you're like, wow, this movie just kind of just floats on by. That's why I think this movie's great for in the afternoon. Throw it on. Mm-hmm. It's on in the background. You can do something.
Barry freaks out, trips, and dies.
I'm glad, though, they didn't make him be like, oh, can I get your autograph? You know, when some weird, stupid joke his character would make.
Kills the parents in the front because they took their seatbelts off. Oh.
No, he pushes it. The boy. Whew!
See, okay,
right there.
Structurally, that makes no sense.
Hey, man, they know how to make buildings over there. Okay, so now looking at that, especially on this TV, this is why this TV is so amazing. Is okay, now the building's upright. It's not on the side like I usually thought it was.
Well, I thought it was upright, honestly. When you said sideways, I was like, yeah, sure. Look, if Steppenwolf can be beaten by Wonder Woman and Aquaman, you don't need Superman here. Because that should kill Steppenwolf right there. And that should super kill him.
Guys, he's not going down. Superman's giving all he got.
What was their plan before this on taking this apart?
Nothing. He's like, we're going to pull it apart. Oh, okay. Is it going to hurt? Well, I like being alive.
So, like, does Superman have a thought as to what the afterlife is like then, or?
I like how he just automatically goes along with Cyborg. Like, okay, so I can trust you because we don't know each other.
Yeah, we've never met except for that time you shot me. I mean, if he doesn't remember that, he doesn't remember that. But still,
That those
I also like how he's more Clark. What about Victor? What about Victor?
I do like this.
I would be okay with that line.
And I don't even have toes.
Well, when you're like 5 times any of their ages, yeah.
I think we're all children.
You can go look yourself. See, look, if the Quindent can actually pierce him,
And not Clark's heat vision nor punches,
Yeah.
which should kill somebody.
yeah.
We're the Justice League.
We're
We're the Avengers.
the Guardians of the
No,
Galaxy.
no, no.
I mean,
We're the Super Seven.
We're the League of Justice.
We're the Super Friends. That's what makes Justice League War so great. What are we gonna call ourselves?
Super 7?
And I like too that they changed that in Throne of Atlantis. Super Seven's written on the building. Fear.
I like how, I understand Batman being able to sense fear. What the hell with Aquaman? What is it? And Steppenwolf's face looked terrible in the CG in that screen. Yeah.
Barry's just laying on his side, like, what's going on, guys?
Barry's just looking at his side going, that was some bad CG. One of them just takes Clark with him.
Yeah, from what I've read and what I've heard is like from here they're supposed to see Apocalypse, which would have been really cool. Like off in the distance, like, oh, what the hell is that? Then they all decided as a team, we should go there. Really?
I don't know. Something that like the Snyder Cut, how it's been explained to me so far by you and by other people and things I've read online, something that gets me to it is the movie's supposed to be like 5 hours. It's supposed to be multiple movies, legitimately, and that's fine. But if when you went to Warner Brothers,
There's not even 7 of them.
I know. When you went to Warner Brothers, if they didn't go, hey, you guys can have 2 movies, why'd you even plan to make the 2 movies?
Yeah.
Because that's, in the time frame, this is a 2-hour movie. This is a pretty reasonable time frame for most movies. You know, Endgame was considered super long for Marvel movies. Most movies in general are like 2 hours, 2.5 max. You have exceptions like Lord of the Rings, but like 2.5 hours is typically the max that most movies will go. And so, you know, you already reached 2 hours with this movie, and yeah, some stuff was added for the sake of it. But with everything that happened, unless it was the tragedy that happened to them that caused them to go, no, we're only making it 1 movie. If it had originally been 2, and they decided, well, we wanted to trust you with 2, but the fact you have to back out, we're going to cut it to 1. Then that's more acceptable with the Snyder Cut thing. But if he was only given 1 movie right now, and he thought, I can just make it so I'm going to have to make 3 movies. Like, that's not how that works.
No, and I think that's what he was over ambitious, and the fact that I've heard that there was drawing boards, like this is what we're doing. Like we haven't even filmed the first movie yet, and you're already talking about 3. You know, but they said 4 hours or 6 hours. I think it was 6 hours for the new Snyder Cut.
That's
right?
what you were telling me. Is
Yeah.
for the new one, they're talking like 6 hours, but for the original one, we were talking at least 4 hours. But that was, you don't have 4 hours of movie in 1 movie. You don't make a 4-hour long singular movie. And with how you're explaining it, everything going with Darkseid, and then the Earth being screwed and then them coming back and saving the day, yada yada yada, with the Watchtower and all that. It doesn't it doesn't gel with the means of making one movie. It makes and that's what I'm saying is if we look into this and it turns out Zack Snyder was given 3 movies, but then the passing of his daughter, everything that happened with that. Oh well, you have your life going on. We need these movies to be made. We're gonna have Joss just do one. Like if that's what happened,
I believe that's what happened.
I don't though. Like I don't 100% know on that one because how I was led to understand it, even before all the stuff came out, they were already having issues with the movie getting done on time.
And the budget, and then constant reshoots. Remember, they're like, oh, we're reshooting again. I'm like, don't you guys come out here like in like 4 months?
Yeah.
I do like this.
I don't know how immiscible the Lasso of Truth's testimony is in court.
No, it would be funny if that cop is like, so what's this thing do? Well, let me tell you what the Lasso of Truth does, because I'll explain it.
I feel so bad for J.K. Simmons, though. He
good for his health. Yeah, you could look at it that way.
It is.
There it is.
Yeah.
The design of that thing's odd.
If you don't think about it, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's like the bat, where you're like, if you don't overthink it, it's cool. If you do, it's kind of weird.
Superman flies off. Sonic boom. Now cue the music.
Yeah. Unit production manager. Mariana Jenkins. Do you think that's related to Patty Jenkins?
Oh, I just realized they don't end it with the song "Come Together."
That song wasn't in this movie at all. I thought
It comes on towards the end of this.
Oh, maybe I've never made it that far.
It's a good song. It's a good cover for what it is.
I really like a lot of trailer songs that are used properly in movies. If they're just used for trailer and then very end of credits, not worth my time. Oh, his face is still so screwed up here. You notice it so much more now.
Well, they're out in the open. It's a lot brighter.
Yeah.
He's about to race Barry, and he has to actually talk to Barry. I want to see the original footage with him talking in that mustache. Or like behind the scenes, someone took a picture from behind the camera. It's his teeth, too, that doesn't help.
Yeah, what's his lip? His lip is the key part, I think. And since we've never heard about it, we can only assume it was a draw.
Wow. Way to go, Barry. Make yourself stupid in front of Superman.
Which, here's the question. Is Superman flying versus Barry's running fair?
Well, what's so weird about this is like when he started flying, I was like, oh, they're not going to actually foot race?
I remember, what was the, there was a Superman the Animated Series episode about that, wasn't there? Mm-hmm. Or maybe it was Justice League. But yeah, where he races the Flash around the world for charity or something. Yeah. I'm like, that's good, that's funny. But, like, what are we doing? This one, it was just, I don't know.
It was fun, though. It was something I was like, oh, cool, they're racing. Back to that where Superman sees Barry, in that super fast mode, so he's like, wants to put it to the test of seeing how fast Superman actually is.
But I don't know. I think Superman is probably the most OP character in movie history. I'd go as far to say. At least in recent movie history. As far as movies that are worth watching. Yeah. But, yeah, there's no downside to him at this point in time. Remember when the New 52 came out? And for a while, people are just like, well, now Superman is officially broken because his 2 key weaknesses, kryptonite and magic. They took away the magic for a while. And you're like, what?
Well, and then what was it? He makes that joke. He's like, I hate magic.
Exactly. Like that's one of the things that he's weak to. And then oh gosh, what was it? Harley Quinn, like the animated series, how the Justice League gets taken care of, because none of them are immune to magic.
Well, I hope too down the road we can, I don't know, veer away from villains. I don't know. Villains has always been a problem with movies, especially superhero movies, especially a good villain that sticks. And with team up movies, I really wish, like, it's just so weird. Steppenwolf, like, I remember when they were like, Steppenwolf's the main antagonist in this whole thing, and I'm like, but why?
Well, and it's because, to what you will always argue, it's because in the Snyder Cut it's supposed to be Darkseid. He's supposed to be a stepping stone to it. It's kind of like in Avengers, Loki's the bad guy, but Thanos is actually like the stepping stone he leads into. But the difference is that Loki's a character that people have come to care about. Thanks to Steppenwolf is just there.
Yeah. He says Darkseid once when he chokes out
Hail Darkseid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Glory to Darkseid or something like that. But I don't know.
Throws up a Hitler. Hail Darkseid. We can't do that here. Why?
It's a different time. Just because the box was unburied in World War I doesn't mean we can act like it still is. But,
so overall, watching it again,
it's pretty much the same as I remember it. Although I will say, watching it on a, let's say, better screen has given me a depreciation, not an appreciation, a depreciation.
You tell me that
CGI.
Like the things that I saw come to light, because watching it on a regular TV, even watching it in the movie theater, it's not as crisp as this was.
Well, and but truthfully, watching it in the movie theater, we were awestruck. Even if we didn't really care for it a lot, we were still awestruck by what was going on. And then now watching it, since we've each seen it like 20 times, no joke in that one, I'm sure. It's just...
I would say this is the most watched out of the DCEU.
For me, oddly enough, that's actually BVS.
Really?
Yeah. I don't particularly care for it, but it's still something I can just throw on the back and just not care about.
I want to kill 3 hours, so...
Well, if I'm doing something, I don't care. I mean, my most watched DC movie isn't that. What's your most watched DC movie? I guess we can...
The most watched DC movie? Dark Knight.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I literally had a point where I was so sick I couldn't leave. I was sleeping on a couch because I was just so sick I couldn't move anywhere. And I watched that for 3 days straight. So that definitely took the cake on that one because of that.
One movie I saw most in the theaters was Dark Knight 2.
See, my most watched movie in theaters is... I think it's Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron, Endgame, and I think the first Avengers movie are the only ones I've seen that many times. And it was 4 times for each of them, but it was also kind of...
I think my Dark Knight definitely takes the cake. I've seen it over 20 times, but I worked at the movie theater, so I didn't have to spend money each time.
I mean, there's a lot of movies that I've seen 3 times out of, when I worked at the movie theater. I'd come in to get my schedule, go see a movie. Come in to get my schedule. There's nothing new that's good out, so I'll watch the same movie. I come get my schedule again, nothing good out. I'll come see the same movie a 3rd time. That's how I saw Speed Racer 3 times, superhero movie 3 times.
What did I do? I went to the premiere, then I bought tickets for every single show the whole weekend. And I remember I walked in the theater, then I walked right back out and stood in line. And it came to the point to where everybody was like, "So you're here for the whole day to watch this?" I was like, "Yeah."
What do you think?
And then people were nice enough to give us the seats. Out of courtesy of like, this fool over here almost died outside wearing that Batman suit.
Yeah. Now, that reminded me of... Oh, so I didn't see Dark Knight. I think I saw Dark Knight once in theaters. And it's because things were going on in my life at that point in time. I was working at the theater at that time. But that's the time that I was ending my relationship with Georgiana.
Mm-hmm.
So there was all of that stuff going on.
True.
So I didn't...
That was a weird time. I would say for both of our lives.
Yeah, well, me a lot more. But You had some weird stuff. I'm just saying that specific situation.
We're trying to get in a little. Well, my time was weirder than yours.
I mean, you didn't have what happened to me happen to you. We can talk about that another time. But,
We'll save it for the next one.
yeah.
We'll save it for the Dark Knight.
We'll save it for the Snyder cut. Gosh, like if you said that like 2 years ago, people would think you're being heavily sarcastic, and now that's just a thing that we're expecting now. Gosh.
Hey, Bill Finger still makes me happy seeing that name.
Jack Kirby.
Yeah.
And Bill Finger was the one that got screwed, wasn't he?
If you want to see a cool documentary, it's on Hulu. It's about Bill Finger, and we actually interviewed his
Granddaughter?
Athena Finger. We have that in the archives.
I'm sorry.
I know.
If you have the last name of Finger, there's a lot of names you need to stay away from.
But no disrespect towards her.
No.
Great interview.
You also don't pick your name. Like that'd be like if you're being a spiteful parent. Well, you know what are we gonna name our child, Miss Fingers? Ivana. Ivana Fingers. Oh.
Then that's when that doctor or nurse is like, "This can just say it to yourself. Just say it out loud. Repeat it to yourself."
What did you say her middle name was? Lotta?
Oh, he's in Arkham now, huh?
Well, no, he's not. But
oh yeah.
cool.
I remember in the theater with you, and after this, I was like, sadly, we'll never get this. This is not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. Have you watched Green Arrow?
The show?
Mm-hmm.
Arrow? Yeah, up to season 3 or whatever.
I still think the Deathstroke from that is better than this one. You don't get much out of him.
I was going to say, I was like, that's not really fair to him. You don't get that much. He's just standing there.
Though. I like the costume of the other one.
I don't know. I got to say, I like this costume.
Also, the lady randomly in the background behind him. What the hell's going on with that? You do see this, though, and I just like, Slade Wilson's story is also one of the weirdest ones for me, as far as someone who...
You can actually see what they're doing inside.
Neat. I hope it's appropriate for this movie. But no, like, for someone who is a villain, his story really starts out like he should be a hero. But, okay. That has been... We're getting a little ending stuff. That has been our POP-FLIX watching of Justice League. I almost said Dark Knight.
Distributed by Warner Brothers.
I will say, and I've said this 1,000 times, this movie came out too soon.
You're telling me, we've gotten theories of like what they should have done.
Yeah, no, we've had plenty. There were at least 5 more movies before Justice League.
Yeah,
where Avengers has that core team, but let's be honest, you don't really have to care that much about Black Widow or that much about Hawkeye, and they had their own little bits in other movies where Batman v Superman has the Trinity, but you also really don't get much out of Diana to begin with, and Batman is really weird in that movie.
Well, the thing too is the problem with Justice League is each of these characters are really well established in the mythos and 2 storylines, and when they came together, it was a big deal because you're like, oh, I love these characters. I love Flash is going to be with Batman. That's what the Justice League's book were. Not many people are going to be. People will be shocked by this, but reading comic books for a long time, Avengers wasn't the team.
It wasn't the big team.
It wasn't the big team. X-Men was a huge thing for Marvel back in the day. So that's why it was one of the first properties to get really picked up and made into movies. And, I argue with people, oh, no. Blah, blah. And with Iron Man
prior to the first Iron Man movie was a B hero that nobody cared about.
Yeah. And I like the fact that with the Marvel movies, the MCU, it works so well establishing these characters, has been building them to the Avengers and making the Avengers a real true staple. And unlike with these movies, I'm like, oh man, everybody knows Batman. Everybody knows Wonder Woman, Flash, you know.
And the truth is, with any comic book hero, there's so many stories that have been written about them that you could take from anything. And I think the cool thing that Marvel does is they do the thing I wasn't really super keen on, where they take the real world and add stuff to it. But they do it in such a way where, well, Thor has been here. There's people that have been researching what happened, like with the Asgardians a long time ago, that believe in the Einstein's Rosen Bridge and stuff like that. So we have the Rainbow Bridge and people understanding that. We have S.H.I.E.L.D. that actually knew about superhumans since World War II, you know, since it was the SSR. We have this history behind all these things that can lead into the modern real world of having heroes, which is something that the DC universe doesn't really have that same footing.
Yeah, well, plus too, you got Warner Brothers that constantly make Batman movies, constantly make Superman movies and whatnot. There's 7 actors who've played Batman. You know,
physically or just in general?
Just in general.
Okay, because I'm just like, I don't think there's been that many physical men in the bat suit. Because like there's Michael Keaton.
Val Kilmer.
See, he's the one I always forget. It's not because I can't remember that it's Batman. Batman Forever. Wow, he was real great on this one. But it's not that I forget that it's that. It's that the only thing I can remember about him is his stupid like upward turned lips. The entire time he's talking to
Superman. Yeah, very pretty boy lips.
Yeah, George Clooney, Ben Affleck,
Christian Bale, Robert Pattinson.
Does that count?
There's footage shot of him as Batman,
I guess, and then there's
images released of him as Batman.
Then there's the kid from Gotham too.
We're not gonna talk about that.
But hey, no. That's actually come out, and he's worn the bat suit. No. Robert Pattinson has worn the bat suit, but that's not out. How can you say no?
No. Have you seen the Gotham show?
No.
Well,
I also haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. since the first season, so
it did get better. But we're talking about Justice League.
But that's what I'm saying though is, you know, Kevin Conroy's worn the bat suit.
Oh yeah, and the Infinite Earths.
Yeah.
Did he though?
Yeah.
I thought he just wore like a skeleton. He just was as Bruce Wayne.
He wore a skeleton.
Not like someone.
Skeletons.
Something that helps him stay upright because his body's so beaten. He's playing Bruce. He's not being Batman.
Maybe. I thought they showed him as Batman. I don't know. There's still been more people that have played Superman, though. And we're talking about that, though, as far as
Adam West is Batman.
Oh, yeah, Adam West, too.
Yeah. And then... Wait, no, there's an actor in the Serial days.
In the serials. But there was also one of those for Superman. Then there's Christopher Reeves. There's Ben... What's his name? Ben Kenobi. No,
wow, at least 35.
Okay, but that's probably including animated.
Okay, so here we go. Henry Cavill, Brandon Roth, Tom Welling, Christopher Reeve, Tyler Hoechlin, and Supergirl, Dean Cain, Nicolas Cage.
Okay, that's animated though. That's no.
Well, what about the Superman movie? He did wear a suit in that. It wasn't made though.
I've worn a Thor costume. That doesn't mean I've played Thor.
Well, I updated your IMDb, okay? George Reeves. Yes.
I just see my IMDb page now being Flix. 20 what year did this movie come out? 2018? 2017? 2017, I think. 2017 Justice League as Thor. Because that was this is the second DC movie, I think. No,
with Nicolas Cage on here, it does say Teen Titans Go to the movies. I'm like, you couldn't. What was it called? Superman Lives.
Yeah, Superman Lives, I think is what it's called.
Great documentary on that too, by the way. You should watch that. She actually shows test footage with that suit on.
He's got that long hair too, and it's weird.
Long hair and the suit that has like this electric thingy going
it's
on.
Tim Burton suit. Like it's you look at that and go, Tim Burton was part of the design crew for that.
And spiders.
Yeah. Giant robot spiders, and he fights a polar bear. No, but what I'm saying is I think the point you were getting to is that we have seen so many people portray these characters. Outside of an animated universe,
There's been one Captain America movie. Thor was in the Incredible Hulk TV show once. And I don't think Iron Man has been in anything. So the fact that we got these people, and I don't even think it's just that. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, great actors. Not to say that anyone in this movie is a bad actor, but great actors with great scripts.
Yes. So,
these things can exist. Man, we might have to change this to Justice League Flix, or POP-FLIX. Let's talk Marvel. Which I will say, compared to kind of what I was thinking initially, I didn't bring up Marvel nearly as much as I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
You didn't bring up Jossie versus Snyder.
I did a few Jossie lines. I was going to, and then I was like, you know what, that's going to get repetitive, and it's just going to be stupid. Well,
and it's one of those, whose fault is it? Is it Joss Whedon's fault that something happened in Zack Snyder's life and WB needed him to finish the movie? Like, that's something that has been like creeping in my mind and pissing me off more and more, where people are like, Joss Whedon ruined the movie. Well, no, Joss Whedon saved the movie from being stopped.
Well, and it goes into the effect of before we started this. I was like, people are throwing away these copies of the movie, and I'm just like, if you hated it that bad, it's just like anything.
Why'd you buy it?
Why'd you watch it again? I wonder how many times those people have watched that movie, and now that the Snyder Cut's on the horizon, now they're like, no, we ain't having this in this house anymore.
And that's something I've been very happy when we've talked together, that you're not that kind of person who is just like, oh, the new thing is out, I don't care about it. Like, it's who directed the Green Lantern?
Who directed the Green Lantern movie?
Besides a pile of feces, which everyone's probably going to joke about.
I rewatched it the other day, and it's not terrible. It's just like this. It's one of those movies that's quick. It's fast paced, and just because it's like less than an hour.
Gosh,
Martin Campbell.
Gosh, watching that on this screen, how bad would that make us view it?
I'd rather watch it on my TV.
Yeah, because ignorance
even on that,
even
though my TV is not up to the standard of yours, it still looks bad on my TV, because my TV is at least 4K, but not fully.
Mm-hmm. No, it's one of those things that you watch old movies on old TVs. That's good. You start watching old movies on new TVs, or you watch older. I'm really concerned about. Oh, excuse me. I'm really concerned about watching the first Iron Man on the TV now.
Well, with those things, I tend not to go buy the 4K.
Oh, no. And mine over there is just Blu-ray. Yeah. But that doesn't mean, and even if I watched it on Disney Plus, I don't know what they're streaming it in, but I still don't feel like it's one of those, when they had a 4K re-release of, what was it, Jurassic Park? And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so.
Like, it's like the 4K version they're releasing for the 40th anniversary of Jaws. And I'm like, does that seem necessary to make a 4K version of that movie?
But you remember Star Wars, the special editions that were digitally remastered. And you're like, okay, I do see a difference watching this one and the original one. It looks a little bit better. But we still have limitations as to how far that's going to go.
Well, like we just saw on Disney Plus with the prequels, how they upgraded the format, the HD and whatnot. You're like, all right, some things are like, okay, that's all right, They're like, whoa, that's.
Well, and you have to take yourself, like that's the funny part about movies, sort of, is it's a medium where you have to take yourself out of viewing a lot of things logically if you want to have a good time. And with fictional things, if you're watching something like True, that's another thing completely. If you're watching fictional things, Justice League, Star Wars, any of the Marvel movies, you can't be like, oh, I need to take this super seriously, but you also have to believe what you're seeing.
Well, it's just like when 4K was a thing,
when 4K was a thing, because it's not now.
Well, because it's kind of it's just like when Blu-rays came out, when DVDs came out. But when 4K was really ramping up and this and that, and becoming that new line of the way to watch movies, a friend of mine bought a 4K TV, 4K player, and one of the first 4K movies he bought was Face Off. He told me, he's like, I shouldn't have watched that because it's so like crystal clear. It's like cleaned. You can see the wires when they have the big fight at the end when they're like shooting each other. Yeah.
Well, that's the con of doing that is unless it's digitally remastered and hey, we're gonna white out these lines, which for something that's live action they might not do. There might not have been any special effects editing in that one. It might have just been shots, and if you're not editing that way, you're not going to take out wires. But truthfully to it, and I'm someone that's been converted from this, is when 4K first came out, we grew up in a generation where VCRs existed, and you're just like, cool, like this looks really grainy. I can tell that it's really grainy, but it's still really fun to watch. Then DVDs came out, and we're like, dang, this looks good. And then Blu-ray came out, and I was like, I see the stepping stone from this. It's cool. The only real reason I did much with Blu-rays is because I had a Blu-ray player in, I needed to buy a DVD player, and Blu-ray players were the same cost. So I'm like, screw it, I'll get a Blu-ray player. And then, now that 4K's happened, bought a new TV, because my old TV sucked. And then, that was a 4K TV, and I happened to have something that plays 4K, because I'm a gamer. And I had an Xbox One X, so I'm like, let me watch 4K on the 4K screen. And I watched it, and I'm just like, this is okay, but I really can't tell a big difference between this and the Blu-ray. And now we get into my new one, where I'm like, oh, you can tell.
Well, I remember when I finally upgraded to a Blu-ray player and a decent flat screen TV. I remember the first, I didn't see the big deal. I still had DVDs and whatnot, and, a VHS player for VHS I had. And I remember, one day I was like, screw it. I went to Bookman's. They had a Blu-ray player there and the cables and whatnot, the HDMI cord and stuff like that. I was like, what, screw it. And I bought it. And I went on a binge and I bought the Transformer movies on Blu-ray and whatnot and this and that. And I watched those. And I was drunk. I won't lie. I was drunk as a skunk, and I would call my brother. I was like, "Oh my gosh, the HD's so good," and maybe just because I was drunk at the time, maybe that's why it was so amazing to me. But
and to be honest, I gave you my old TV, and when I did so, I thought this is how little I noticed the difference from my old TV to what you have. I thought you already had a 4K TV. I thought the TV you had was a 4K TV. And I was just like, it isn't? That's how little I can tell the difference between a 4K and a non-4K TV. The thing that made this TV so much different was the lighting, the size, which, yeah. And then the motion on it. You can see things.
People are like, what does that have to do with Justice League?
I know. It's about the viewing experiences, you Luddites.
Yeah.
No, well, and we can edit this out if we need to.
No, we're leaving it all in. You're in for the long haul.
You want to spend 3 hours with us with only 2 of it being about Justice League?
But back to this real quick with these characters and how...
Is that what you call them, characters? I call them a single dimension.
With Batman and Superman having so many movies. Wonder Woman having one and a half.
She had a TV show, too.
Yeah. But to Flash...
having multiple seasons of it.
And then, to an Aquaman not being cinematic, though. A cinematic level for Aquaman, for Flash, for Cyborg. Wonder Woman finally now, because, they were pushing for that Wonder Woman agenda. If they could have been done in this order they have it in. We could have had the Superman movie on top, then a Batman movie, a Wonder Woman movie, do Dawn of Justice, then let's get a Flash movie, Cyborg movie, Aquaman movie, then...
See, and I think, we've talked about this before plenty of times, but I think Wonder Woman obviously should have come before BVS, because pretty much the entire purpose of the Wonder Woman movie after BVS becomes, well, let's explain why she was useless for 100 years. And then... Flash movie, fine. Aquaman movie, cool. No Cyborg movie. Yet. I say
after the events of
Justice League is where he gets introduced. Then we have a Cyborg movie.
All right, Warner Brothers, call us up. We have an email.
Dude, if I feel like you and I are both the kind of people that if a company came up to us and was like, hey, we know you're not professional screenwriters. We want you to write us a script, though, a hard draft of a script for this superhero person.
I feel like we could match up with almost anybody as far as how good it'd be. Outside of people like maybe Kevin Smith. But, I mean, even he has his own style, and if that's not what they were looking for... No, I'm telling you, like, we hated Aquaman for so many different reasons than why it's such a big movie. Like, I swear, you and I, co-directing, could have made an Aquaman movie with as much money as was given to that movie and made as much money. Like, it's one of those... Marvel could walk up to us and be like, hey, we need you to make a movie on West Coast Avengers.
Oh my goodness, yes.
No. What is it called? Alpha
Flight?
Alpha Flight, yeah. We need you to make a Canadian Avengers movie.
Done.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is we could do that, and as long as we had a few big name actors and good effects and followed the Marvel thing, that movie would make hundreds of millions, if not
Let's
billions.
start a hashtag right now. Hashtag POP-FLIX Save Hollywood. There we go. Hashtag POP-FLIX Save Hollywood.
No, see, here's the problem with that, is that we can only save the superhero genre, because...
No, I think we can save everything.
You want to bring back stoner comedies, so...
Ghost Pizza's done. I just need to shoot it.
I gotta tell you, I really think you and Seth Rogen could get along very well.
Oh my goodness.
And you together could probably be a really interesting pair.
You know, if Seth Rogen, like, if he was like, hey, I heard about this Ghost Pizza thing. This is a great idea. I'm like, right? You want to smoke a doobie over this while we talk about it? Well, that's how this started.
I still think that if you, Seth Rogen, and Jack Black collaborated together, you could make the funniest movie. Because I swear, if there was some, what's the movie? What's the Rob Schneider movie where he switches bodies? Hot Chick?
The animal?
No. He doesn't switch bodies in Animal.
Does he? Oh, no, he becomes an animal.
Well, he already is kind of
Yeah.
part one. But,
Hot
we
Chick.
all are. Yeah, but in Hot Chick. Had a sort of Hot Chick incident, but you and Jack Black changed bodies.
Oh my gosh. Well, last night we watched Welcome to the Jungle. Well, no. Next Level.
Oh, yeah.
Next Level for Jumanji. And Kathy was watching with us, my daughter. And she goes, Mommy, who's that? Pointing at Jack Black's character. And she goes, Mom, all the wife had to say was like, honey, that's Dad's doppelganger in white form. I was just like...
You know a movie I want to rewatch? Not. It's a really good movie if you are into that kind of thing, but not really a great movie on its own. But Tenacious D.
Oh, that is a great movie. What are you talking about?
Not on its own. It's objectively looking at it. It's not great. It's got good music, but it's not a great movie.
I will fight arm and teeth for that movie.
Okay. Well,
I just watched it I think last month.
We'll have a fight about that sometime. Well, that was Justice League and more.
See, you get so much more with this. Like I said, I want to see the hashtag POP-FLIX Save Hollywood. And you know what's so funny though, when you talked about me writing a movie and me trying to bring that to the stoner genre, someone I think commented once when I brought up the idea of Ghost Pizza. You know, I write a bunch of scripts sometimes when I get the motivation to, but with Ghost Pizza was very passionate. And someone's like, it's so weird that somebody that's so adamant about comic book movies and this and that, the first movie you want to make is a movie about stoners. And I'm like, yeah, my humor, you know, it.
Your humor aligns more with that, I will admit. It's one of those that conversation we had prior to this when we were talking about the way you
project.
Project that you're working on. The reason I gave the thought I did is because yours is definitely more stoner-esque.
Jokes, you know.
Yep. But thank you guys for joining us, especially if you've made it this far into this. There's something that I want to try soon. We might actually try a live stream of us doing a POP-FLIX. Now, obviously, we couldn't have the movie on the screen for you guys as we're doing it, but we're kind of working around that right now.
I got a few ways that I think could work.
So we'll try to get to that in the near future. This whole quarantine thing that's loosening up a little too quickly for some of us, but it's kept us on our toes. It's kept us inside, and
I'm built for this.
It's one of those things that we look at this kind of thing and we go, is there a reason this is considered a bad thing? But no, we understand the psychological, physiological, and emotional things that are occurring during this time, and we want you all to stay safe.
Stay safe, stay strong.
Yeah, well, I thought I heard. I
Oh,
thought I heard
you're going crazy.
I thought I heard your phone say something through this, and I was just like, "What the hell?" No, but yeah, we want you to,
Be safe.
be safe.
Don't touch each other.
Well, definitely don't touch each other if it's not consenting. But jeez, I'm trying.
I know. I'm like, where are you going?
No, I'm trying to remember. Tell your mom. Tell your dad.
Oh, you're trying to do my
I'm
line?
trying to do your line. I'm trying to steal your line, but I can't
All right, y'all.
remember it.
Well, like and subscribe. Share with your grandma. Share with your grandpa. Share with the bum down at Walmart.
Wash your hands after, and actually, if you're sharing with these people, do it from a safe social distancing.
Please.
Yeah, we want you guys to be able to enjoy this for years to come. We
Especially with the bum down at Walmart. Need that hand sanitizer.
I don't know if I trust touching any of my parents at this point in time. Heck, I don't know if I'd ever want to touch any of my parents. Let's be honest.
I was just like,
But tell your friends, everybody could use a little laugh every once in a while, and what better way to laugh than watching the atrocity that is Justice League. Thank you guys. This is Pops. I'm just kidding. This is Flix.
And on that note, everyone have a good night or day or whatever. I don't know. This is too much fun.
Have a good whatever time it happens to be. We're in quarantine. Who the hell knows what time it is?
This could have gone 5 hours if we really wanted to, but
well, maybe we'll record an early podcast for you guys if you guys want it. But
all right, y'all. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Share with everybody. And remember, hashtag POP-FLIX save Hollywood.
You about reiterated yourself.
I know.
I
do
everybody
that
because I threw you off with that.
I know. I was like, what are you doing? You're stealing my line.